What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
2RJ. Chapter 26. Holy Land Mary Geois. In a magnificent room. 5 old people with different faces were sitting around a round table. One of them, a blond old man with a black face, shouted angrily, "Unforgivable, the Black Crow pirates must perish. No matter what the cost, they will all be killed." The words came out. The other 5 elders also have different faces, but about the same thing, their faces are very ugly. With a knife, 5 elders said coldly, "It's been years since celestial dragons died outside, and this time I died in the Chambord Islands. This is a provocation to me and the world government. Single quote. If you don't kill these guys this time, where is the majesty I'm waiting for?" After hearing that celestial dragons died in the Chambord Islands, 5 elders gathered for the first time and held a meeting. They never thought about it. In the Chambord Islands, someone dared to attack celestial dragons. They did not expect. Marine didn't expect it. The rest did not expect it. Because even the 4 emperors, this super pirate group standing at the apex of the pirates, would not dare to do such a thing in the Chambord Islands. Because once you do such a thing, there will be unprecedented retaliation by the world government. Faced with such revenge, even the 4 emperors did not dare to head on. As a world government that has ruled the world for 800 years, it has a foundation that is beyond ordinary people's imagination. The world government is not only marine with a strong force. They secretly hide many forces. Because everyone knows the hidden secrets of world government. That's why everyone didn't dare to move celestial dragons. Because once it moves, it is equivalent to igniting the bomb. Even 4 emperors may not be able to bear it. The white-haired 5 elders looked gloomy and said coldly, "This kind of guy can't stay in this world. We must cut the weeds and roots. Yes, give an order to Sengoku. Let them kill these 2 guys at all costs, no matter what method they use, it is the best to catch it. The Black Crow pirates must die." The 5 elders talked a lot, with different words. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. But the consensus was that they wanted the Black Crow pirate group to be destroyed. Because of this matter, they have indeed reached their bottom line. Sengoku, far away at Marine's headquarters, was shocked when he received a call from 5 elders. He never thought about it. Someone dared to attack celestial dragons in Chambord Islands. And the most important thing is, the person who started it was someone he knew very well. A member of the Black Crow pirates. Ye Chen and Gallo. Learned the news. Sengoku's face suddenly sank. "Don't worry, we will kill them." After speaking, hang up the phone. Then Sengoku sighed and said to Marine outside, "Let Garp and Suru come over, and Kizaru Admiral." It didn't take long. Ha ha ha. What happened to Sengoku? Is it possible that Akainu and the others were beaten by Ye Chen? Garp laughed and walked in. Behind him was Lieutenant General Crane, and behind him was Kizaru in a coat. The 3 came to the office. "Sit down on the sofa." Kizaru lay on the sofa, adjusted a comfortable sitting position, and said lazily, "Marshal Sengoku, is it true that the 2 of them have already settled Ye Chen and the others, then can I go to rest?" For him, rest is now the most important thing. After all, I was beaten up by Kaido. "Garp, you guy." Sengoku's face turned dark, he glared at Garp, and then said coldly to Kizaru, "Don't think about it when you rest, now something big has happened." The words came out. The expressions of Kizaru and Crane changed a little, but Garp was the same as before. "What's the matter, Sengoku?" He crossed his hands, placed it on the table, and asked calmly. "Not long ago," Sengoku said in a deep voice, "Ye Chen killed a celestial dragons in the Chambord Islands, and he cut off the limbs of celestial dragons, and inserted the body of celestial dragons on a big tree, telling us to keep us alone. He has an idea, otherwise this celestial dragons will end." As soon as this remark came out, everyone changed their voices, even Garp. All were shocked by the news. Kizaru widened his eyes and said, "Is this news certain? Marshal Sengoku killed celestial dragons in the Chambord Islands. Isn't this looking for death?" "Of course I am sure. Just after 5 elders gave me the news, he told us to kill Ye Chen no matter what the cost. Of course it is best to catch Ye Chen and leave it to them." Hearing it is true, Kizaru was dumbfounded. There are people who dare to do something with celestial dragons. Sengoku looked at Crane and said, "Crane, I said that this guy is a hidden danger. If we can't get rid of him early, it will definitely become a hidden danger for us in the future. Obviously we are a step late." Crane was silent. She also did not expect Ye Chen to dare to do such a thing. This kid is quite powerful, he dares to do something to the rubbish. Having said that, Garp saw Sengoku's almost cannibalistic eyes, and he touched his head and laughed and said, "Sorry, Sengoku, I forgot that I can't say." Single quote. "Garp, you fellow." Single quote. Sengoku's face turned black into coal, "How dare to say such a thing?" "Haha, don't care about Sengoku." Garp laughed indifferently and said, "The top priority, aren't we going to deal with the kid Ye Chen? What are you planning? Do you need us to be dispatched? There are already 2 little ghosts, Aokiji and Akainu." Speaking of this, Garp said, "Why don't you let me go? It just happened that the kid Ye Chen didn't give his full strength last time. In the past, it is estimated that he can force the kid's full strength. Single quote. You go with Kizaru. Although you have wasted your combat power a bit, this matter is important, and you can't let it go. That group must be dealt with. Chapter 27. Chambord Islands. The 18th area. On a street, a group of Marines surrounded Ye Chen and others. A major general in a coat sullenly yelled at Ye Chen. Ye Chen, grab it with your hands, you are already surrounded by us. Heard this. Ye Chen smiled slightly. This major Marine, who gave you the courage to make you think your guns are useful to us. Single quote. There are very few Marines around. More than 100 people. Everyone is holding a musket, aiming at Ye Chen and others. If you fire all at once. If you were an ordinary person, you would have been beaten into a sieve long ago. Major General Marine's face turned dark. I admit that your strength is indeed very strong, but facing so many muskets, even you can't be all right. Musket. Heard this sentence. Ye Chen smiled, then his eyes condensed, and said coldly, where is the musket? Heard this sentence. Major General Marine had a bad premonition in his heart, and he quickly roared loudly, do it. Single quote. Just now, a breath of terror spread from Ye Chen's body. One Setsuna room. The boundless breath spread and swept all around. The surrounding Marines were struck by lightning, as if they were carrying a huge rock on their backs, and they were falling to the ground and being crushed on the ground. Immobile. Thump. Major General Marine fell to the ground, eyes wide. Conqueror's Haki. He has heard of Conqueror's Haki, which can produce a violent mental shock wave, which can directly stun people who are not determined. No, this is not Conqueror's Haki. What is this ability? Gravity. Quickly, Major General Marine found something wrong. Although the surrounding Marines fell down, they were all conscious. They are all the same as him, but like a rock on their back, they can't move at all, although there is no way to move. But the will is still sober. He was not in a coma. What is this ability? Gravity. Is Ye Chen a fruitful person? Single quote. Major General Marine whispered in his heart, his eyes filled with shock. Take the news he got. But I have never heard of Ye Chen's ability. Doesn't it mean that he possesses the ability similar to fire? At this time, Ye Chen walked over. Squatting in front of Major General Marine, he asked, how many Marine Admiral are you dispatched this time? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Major General Marine's eyes widened and kept looking at Ye Chen. Upon seeing this, Ye Chen reacted and said with a smile, forget, you can't talk. Single quote. Talking. Ye Chen was exposed to part of his pressure. Although people were still pressed there, they could speak. There are already 2 Admiral on the way, as long as they rush over, you will have nowhere to escape. You are dead, Major General Marine said sharply. 2 Admiral. Ye Chen smiled slightly. It seems that Marine Admiral values me very much. Single quote. By the way, who is the one here? Akainu Admiral and Aokiji Admiral. Speaking of which, Major General Marine said in a cold voice, I advise you to surrender quickly. These 2 Admiral are not so good talkers. If you insist on doing this, they will definitely be killed. Single quote. If you surrender now, say you will still be alive. In its view, Aokiji and Akainu are dispatched, no matter who they are, it is a dead end. Even 4 emperors are not necessarily afraid. Ye Chen, they just went to sea just now. Facing the 2 Admiral, there is no chance of winning at all. If it were them, that would be great. Ye Chen smiled and said, Acedes, you and Gallo will go to deal with that Aokiji. As for Akainu to give me, I will meet this guy in person for a while. Single quote. Hearing that he was going to join forces with Gallo to deal with one person, Acedes was a little reluctant, saying, Captain, I'm all alone, no help is needed. Single quote. Gario just watched from the side. Let yourself be watched. Gallo definitely disagrees, shook his head. No, I have to do it too, I have been waiting for these guys for a long time. Acedes, you just came here, watch it for the time being. Or, Captain, rest, let us deal with them. Impossible. Ye Chen refused decisively. What a joke. I just met Admiral, how could I let it out? And he also intends to see if Akainu's temperature is high or his temperature is high. These guys. Major General Marine next to him listened to the chat of Ye Chen and others. Suddenly his eyes widened. His face was shocked. These guys knew that they were 2 Admiral, but they didn't even mean to escape, but they were fighting. It's not like a newcomer at all. Normally, when the newcomer heard that it was Marine Admiral, they were all scared to death. Only them. I am happy to see Marine Admiral. This is really outrageous. He really didn't understand what was so happy about meeting Marine Admiral. This is an almost mortal situation. At this time, the 18th area, at the dock. Aokiji and Akainu landed on the Chambord Islands. As soon as they stepped into the 18th area. Soon, Marine came oncoming. Ye Chen is there. Akainu asked coldly. Heard this. A Marine general hesitated and said, they are right ahead, and according to the information they have received, they seem to stay here deliberately. Quote. It seems to be waiting for us. Hear this. A cold light appeared in Akainu's eyes and said in a cold voice, do you know the pirates who are tall and thick? Give him time not to run, and even stay here to wait for us, even if he wants to die, then I will send him to die. Single quote. Finished. Akainu walked in, followed by Aokiji. It didn't take long. The two came to the street. Inside, many Marines lie on the ground. In the center, there are 3 people standing. Ye Chen saw Akainu and Aokiji. He stretched his waist and said faintly, "Your Marine is really slow. I've been waiting for you for more than an hour." Single quote. Heard this sentence. Both Aokiji and Akainu's faces turned dark. Chapter 28. You were waiting for us. Aokiji's eyes flashed. White air conditioning appeared all over his body, the surrounding temperature could also drop, and a layer of frost gradually appeared on the ground. Celestial dragons did you kill on purpose? It's not intentional, it's just that I happened to meet these guys. You also know the character of celestial dragons, so I killed it. Bai Yi said calmly. Aokiji's mouth twitched and killed celestial dragons. What a courage. If someone else sees celestial dragons, it is estimated that the first reaction is to avoid celestial dragons, like avoiding the plague, for fear of being implicated by celestial dragons. Ye Chen is good, and he started directly when he saw celestial dragons. Although he also knew the character of celestial dragons, he was unscrupulous and didn't put anyone in his eyes. This kind of character is very simple to offend people, but because of the strength of the world government, although many people are offended, no one dares to do something with celestial dragons. Ye Chen is the first case. Hey, although I admit that those guys are not very good-tempered, I don't really want to avenge those guys. Aokiji walked out slowly, and the surrounding temperature dropped suddenly, but as Admiral, I have to do it. I know, Admiral is not the lackey of celestial dragons. The owner is killed, and it is normal for the dog to retaliate. Bai Yi smiled slightly and said faintly. Hear this. Aokiji's face sank slightly, and he said in a cold voice, "You look good, but it's a pity that this mouth, if you don't have this mouth, you would look perfect." There is nothing wrong with Admiral being the dog of celestial dragons. This is something that many people know. But few people dared to speak out. It is estimated that the 4 emperors dare to say that the rest really don't have this ability. After all, Admiral stands at the top of the world. Ice Dragon. Aokiji's eyes flashed, and a cold air broke out all over his body, and a deep cold air burst out loudly. Boom. One Setsuna room. The boundless air conditioning condensed into frost, condensed into an ice dragon in the air, burly in shape, hideous and lifelike, with a roar, heading towards Ye Chen and others. Wherever he went, everything was frozen, even the air. The frost all over the sky condenses and condenses into ice flowers. Ice Dragon. Just now, standing next to Ye Chen, a seed showed a violent fighting spirit, his hands condensed with cold air, and an ice dragon longer than Aokiji appeared out of the sky. How can that be? See this scene. Aokiji's eyes widened, as if seeing something incredible. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He actually saw someone with the same ability as him. This is something he didn't expect. Because devil fruit is unique. In the whole world, there is only one demon fruit power. Boom. The 2 ice dragons collided and a violent roar broke out. A terrifying air wave swept around, as if to lift the surroundings. Justice Punch. Gallo was bursting out like rays of light, and his huge fist was instantly covered by armament Haki and moved towards Aokiji's head. Gallo's reminder was too big, his fists were bigger than Aokiji alone, covering Aokiji in the shadows. Ice Wall. Aokiji's eyes flashed, raising his hand and the coldness bloomed. Setsuna Room. There was a 10-meter-long ice wall in front of him, and the impact of his fists instantly smashed the ice wall, and at that moment, Aokiji retreated, leaving Gallo's attack range instantly. These guys popped up from there. Aokiji's face was serious, whether he had just used a woman like him or Gallo, it put him under a lot of pressure. The strength is not weak. And doesn't it mean that Ye Chen has only Gallo a companion? Aokiji didn't understand, who was this person with the same ability as him? Why is there no previous information? It's on the other side at this time. Because of Aokiji's hands, the 2 sides started a big battle. Akainu also started directly, and his abilities began to show. A cold shout sounded. Big Spitfire. Single quote. Akainu's eyes were cold, his hands turned into lava, condensed into a huge fist, bursting toward Ye Chen. Like a volcanic eruption, the huge lava fist shot out at an extremely fast speed. Everything is ashes. Fire refusal. Ye Chen quickly liberated, swinging his knife and cutting across the front. Endless flames rose, condensing around him into a firewall composed of flames. Although it was only Shikai, the flame temperature of Ryūjin Jakka was extremely high, and Akainu's lava fist touched it. It just passed through one layer, and it was melted in an instant. The reason why Garp was able to pass through the flame before was because Ye Chen was not very proficient in the control of Ryūjin Jakka before, and he did not deliberately adjust the temperature, so he could be passed through. In addition, Garp's armament Haki has long since cultivated the ultimate, possessing abilities that ordinary people do not have. But after this period of time, Ye Chen's control of Ryūjin Jakka is getting more and more smooth, and the temperature is naturally not comparable to before. If you face Garp at once, it's not that simple for Garp to go through the wall of fire. Seeing that the fire breathing was stopped, Akainu snorted coldly, "Small bugs." Single quote. Between words, Akainu rushed over, his hands turned into giant lava hands, and he grabbed the fire directly, as if he wanted to tear it apart. Just at the moment he touched. Ye Chen inside smiled slightly and sneered. Boom. Ryūjin Jakka's ability is not only about temperature, he can also control the flame and explode it. Boom. The terrifying explosion sounded, the entire ground was directly blown up, and the ground moved and the mountains shook like an earthquake. Smoke billowed. Akainu was blown out and flew out tens of meters, and finally hit a big tree in the distance. What is this guy Akainu doing? Aokiji on the side felt a little dissatisfied when he saw Akainu being repelled. He was already very reluctant to face both of them. This guy can be repelled even when facing one person, and the abilities of both sides are very similar. Even the opponent's higher abilities were knocked back. Chapter 29. What is this guy doing? Aokiji couldn't figure it out. Although Ye Chen's strength is not weak. But it won't be such a short time, just knock Akainu back, right? This makes no sense. Sakazuki, be serious, this guy is no ordinary kid. Aokiji said coldly in the direction of Akainu. I know this. Akainu stood up slowly, expressionless, surrounded by lava billowing, the intense high temperature burned everything, the air was burned, and the surroundings became distorted, and it looked like the space was burned. It's not a good habit to be distracted by fighting. Just now, Acedes laughed, his eyes full of enthusiasm for war, and the piercing air in his hands rose and turned into a behemoth, heading towards Aokiji. She hasn't experienced such a battle for a long time. Only after she got this emperor, no matter who she faced was crushing, no one was her opponent. She can almost claim to be invincible, standing at the top of the world. But I didn't expect that after being summoned by Ye Chen, it didn't take long before she met an opponent whose strength was almost the same as hers. Facing Aokiji, the long-lost fighting spirit in Acedes' heart was instantly burned. She just wants to enjoy this battle now. Rip the enemy on the opposite side. Smash the enemy on the opposite side. I really don't want to fight with people of the same ability. The boundless cold air filled, and an ice wall appeared in front of Aokiji in an instant. Boom. The two collided together, and the fragments like sharp blades sputtered out and thrust into the ground fiercely. Speed magic. Power magic. A moment Haki. Several magic circles appeared in Gallo's body, like a flash of lightning, his huge palms opened, like the five-finger mountain of the Buddha, and grabbed Aokiji. These two guys are really difficult. Look at the palm in front of you. Aokiji has a headache. 1 is fine. 2 he was in trouble. The strength of these two people is not weak, whether it is the person with the same ability as him, or Gallo is very troublesome. In particular, Gallo is huge, he is also proficient in armament Haki, and his power is extremely amazing. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. In addition, Gallo's resistance was very strong, and ordinary freezing was of no use to him, and he was freed by Gallo casually. This makes Aokiji very uncomfortable. Normally, his ability is enough to freeze one, but he can only face Gallo. This ability has failed. There are wolves before and tigers behind. Facing the attack of the two, Aokiji couldn't evade at all, and was directly punched and flew out by Gallo. There is the presence of armament Haki. He couldn't use elementalization at all, and he directly withstood the punch abruptly. Puff. Gallo's strength is so great, Aokiji only feels his stomach is overwhelmed, extremely uncomfortable. At the same time, he vomited blood and flew out. The other side, Akainu and Ye Chen opened the battle. Akainu, who suffered a loss, did not go straight ahead, but used the characteristics of his own ability to open an exit from Ye Chen's fire. The whole person rushed out directly. Tianyulong. Ye Chen didn't panic and swung his knife to face him. Ryūjin Jakka swayed in midair, endless flames rose out, and finally condensed into a fire dragon. The flame was hot and the temperature rose. Spitfire. With the previous lesson, Akainu didn't dare to face it hard, the lava in his right hand rolled and turned into a lava pillar, shooting towards the fire dragon. Boom. The two collide. Like Mars hit the earth, a terrifying explosion suddenly erupted, and the deafening sound rang around, with a roar, rolling up the air wave and going in all directions. The ground of the two of them collapsed directly, and the falling flames and lava fell below, and the high temperature burned the ground to black. Call out. The two bodies rushed out like lightning, their fists and swords collided, and there was another violent roar. The Ryūjin Jakka covered by armament Haki shone with a strange light, blocking Akainu in front. Akainu, your temperature is a bit low. Ye Chen grinned, and the flames all over his body rose up, reaching the extreme in an instant, evaporating Akainu's lava fist directly. Evaporate that moment. Ye Chen waved, the sword aura blended with the flame, standing on Akainu's body. Click. Akainu quickly backed away, but it was too late. The sword energy fell on him, and a scary trace appeared instantly, with blood jetting. Akainu's face suddenly darkened. Ye Chen's ability was a bit beyond his expectations. The temperature was so high that it could even evaporate his lava, which he really didn't expect. No wonder that old fellow Garp gave you such a high evaluation. Akainu said blankly, not caring about the injuries on his body at all. Instead, the temperature of the lava on his body rose, getting higher and higher, and almost burned the area around him, turning it into a world of fire. At the same time, the people left on the street. Seeing the battle in front of him, his eyes widened. The Black Crow pirates are too strong, right? Both Admiral can't stop them. More than that, Admiral is at a disadvantage now, which is incredible. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I really don't believe in the battle before me. Akainu was actually at a disadvantage when facing Ye Chen. Is this guy really a rookie pirate who just went to sea? No wonder it made sense for Marine to offer such a high bounty at the beginning. The Black Crow pirates do not die, and sooner or later they will become the 5th Sea Emperor of New World. Really terrifying strength. Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect that facing 2 Admiral, this pirate group of only 3 people would not lose the wind, and even gain some advantage. Akainu can't help Ye Chen, Aokiji can't help Gallo and Acedes. Chapter 30. Marine Admiral won't lose, right? Someone exclaimed. Follow the situation in front of you. The 2 Marine Admiral, are there really no advantages? Instead, he was hit by the opposite side. To be frank. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they really didn't believe that the 2 Marine Admiral, facing the rookie pirate group with only 3 people, would have been crushed and beaten. Completely at a disadvantage, without any advantages. This is incredible. The battle is not over yet, so no conclusion can be drawn yet. When it's over, Marine Admiral is not that simple. Someone whispered. Although Ye Chen has the advantage now, they are very clear that this is just the beginning, it is not over yet, and the result has not been determined yet. Everything is possible, not to mention, Marine Admiral has been strong for so many years, there is so simple there. We are right to stay. Sure enough, both sides are not easy. This news must be passed to the headquarters. There are many people left around. Knowing that Ye Chen waited for Marine specially, many people stayed. Some people simply watch the excitement. Some people have other purposes. For example, intelligence officers from various parties, or some top-notch insiders, they are all collecting intelligence. Although this is very dangerous. It may be affected by the battle at any time, but this is their job. The risks are high and the rewards are high. Now, the fighting between the 2 sides of the battle was extremely fierce, almost all turned into afterimages, and every collision caused extremely terrifying destructive power. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. When the blazing high temperature fell, everything was burnt clean. Many buildings were dropped by flames or lava, slowly being melted, and even some of them were directly evaporated. On the other side, a huge ice cube fell, nothing could bear it, and it was directly crushed. The combat power of the 2 sides is too terrifying. It is no longer a problem of a street, but a problem of the 18th area. As the battle between the 2 sides broke out, the entire area on the 18th was shaken, as if there was a major earthquake all the time. Ye Chen and Akainu were extremely calm, and they didn't say any rubbish, and they faced their opponents with a resolute attitude. Each move exploded with great power, and the lava billowing down, no matter what fell into it, it would cause huge damage. Needless to say, Ye Chen's Ryūjin Jakka is extremely powerful, and the flame temperature is terrifying. At the same time, it also carries one after another sharp sword energy, which brings a lot of pressure to Akainu. Plus, Ye Chen is also proficient in 2-color Haki, which is even more troublesome for Akainu. With Armament Haki's existence, his elementalization did not dare to open easily, for fear of being hacked by Ye Chen with a sword. Boom. The 2 sides collided again, and the lava splashed out with flames, and the surrounding high temperature rose, almost burning everything in front of them. At the same time, because of the ice and fire melted, and the steam slowly rose, almost covering the surrounding area. Due to the terrifying combat power of both sides, Ye Chen and Akainu fought fiercely, and the battlefield was also moved from the 18th area to the 17th area. The area on the 18th is almost broken, and nothing intact can be seen around it. Kang. Akainu punched Ryūjin Jakka. Although Ye Chen was prepared, the huge impact instantly knocked him out. Ye Chen stopped in midair and slowly fell to the ground. Just now, Akainu followed, punching out, and said coldly, "Boy, if you have this strength, you can only explain here today." That's what I want to say, if even you have this strength, then I will be very disappointed with Marine. Ye Chen swung the knife, Armament Haki instantly covered it, and slashed towards Akainu's side. Hundreds of meters long sword energy burst out from the sky, bursting out with a fiery high temperature, cutting through the emptiness, as if cutting through the space, and swept towards Akainu. With the sharp sword energy across the air, the ground was almost cut off, revealing a series of terrifying cracks. Akainu's gaze condensed, and the rolling lava fell, and the palm of his hand skyrocketed instantly, directly transforming into a huge palm, almost dozens of times larger than Akainu himself, like the palm of a god, grabbing the sword chi fiercely. Want to stop Jian Chi with this? It's just that the sharpness of sword energy is already terrifying, and the temperature of Ryūjin Jakka is even more astonishing. The moment he touched the sword chi, there was only a moment of stagnation, and then Akainu's palm was cut off as he smashed it. At that moment, Akainu's face changed drastically. This sword aura gave him a very dangerous feeling. If he didn't escape quickly, he would be seriously injured even if he didn't die. He quickly abandoned the lava in his arm, turned into a mass of lava, and condensed in another place. Without Akainu's obstruction, the sword chi was stunned, and almost separated the entire area on the 17th. The other side. The moment Akainu's figure condensed, Ye Chen came to him in an instant with Ryūjin Jakka in his hand, and slashed towards Akainu. Looking at the sharp edge and flames in front of him, Akainu's face changed drastically, and an extremely dangerous feeling surged. Did not think much. Akainu blocked the front with both hands, armament Haki gathered. Although the abilities he uses are all Devil Fruit abilities, he still has abilities like armament Haki, but he is not as proficient as Garp. Chang. The two sides collided, sparks sputtered. Akainu was pressed underneath, both legs went directly to the knees, and the whole ground was directly shattered, and the cracks in the cobweb went in all directions. At the same time, Ye Chen's eyes flashed, and Ryūjin Jakka burst out with terrifying light, and the fire burst out with fierce sword energy. The deafening sound resounded all around, almost spreading across the Shamboard Islands. At the same time, a bright light burst out, sweeping the entire area on the 17th. Now, Rayleigh, who was on his way, saw the dazzling light ahead and hurriedly speeded up. Chapter 31. Boom. The earth-shaking explosion sounded, deafening. The violent force swept across the entire number 17 area, almost overturned the entire number 17 area, and countless buildings were annihilated in the boundless light. The entire area on the 17th was crumbling and almost bursting. Even the force of horror swept through, almost spreading to the nearby area, and began to vibrate near the area on the 17th. It's like an earth-shattering earthquake. To shatter the entire Shamboard Islands. Fortunately, when there was a big war, the surrounding crowd has been evacuated, and there are only a few people who gather intelligence or who are not afraid of death in the surrounding area. The rest have been evacuated. At this time, in the nearby area, everyone saw the light flickering in the distance, as well as the violent vibration of the ground. They were all startled. A pirate offering a bounty of more than 100 million yuan was panicked. What kind of battle is this? He was terrified. The battle in front of him was completely beyond his expectations. I am afraid that the strength is far from what they can imagine. A battle at the Admiral level. I heard that this time, in order to deal with the Black Crow pirates, Marine has dispatched a total of 2 Marine Admiral. Just kidding. Dispatch 2 Marine Admiral. Don't believe it. Someone did see Akainu and Aokiji landing. In the area in front, it is estimated that the two sides are fighting. Normally, the 2 Marine Admiral can completely crush the Black Crow pirates, but now it seems that a fierce battle has taken place between the two sides. Furthermore, there was news that the Black Crow pirates' strength was not weak, and when the war began, they had an advantage. Admiral is weak. Boom. Like a bomb, it immediately exploded in everyone's hearts. This incident almost subverted their worldview. In their view, Admiral's combat power is almost incomprehensible, and no one will be their opponent except for the top pirates. The Black Crow pirate group is naturally also, after all, they are just a rookie pirate group. But now someone tells them that the Black Crow pirates can compete with 2 Marine Admirals, and even get an advantage. This is almost impossible. 2 Marine Admiral, and the Black Crow pirates only had 3 members. The rookie pirate group with only 3 people, facing 2 Marine Admiral, still has an advantage. How strong is this Black Crow pirate group? It's no wonder that Marine gave them such a high bounty at the beginning, and they knew that these people are powerful. This world is going to change the sky. Once the Black Crow pirates enter the new world, the long-term pattern of the new world will change, and there will even be an extra emperor. The strongest rookie pirate group is none other than them. What a horrible group of monsters. Everyone talked a lot. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. His face was full of shock and fear. Although it was only a rookie pirate group with only 3 people, the Black Crow pirate group had already exploded with terrifying energy. This energy, no matter where it is placed, cannot be ignored. This is true even in the new world where monsters gather. Everyone understands. As long as the Black Crow pirates can survive this level, let them roam in the future. At the same time, Rayleigh flickered like a lightning bolt, heading towards the center of the battle. Looked at the flashing light in front of me and the violent explosion sound coming from my ears. Rayleigh raised a smile. It's just that he has such strength just when he went to sea, how can such a man be blocked here? The world needs them. At the same time, in the waters of the Shamboard Islands, a warship moved quickly. On the deck, Kizaru looked at the area ahead and whispered, Mr. Garp, they have already started fighting, and it looks fierce. Just watching from a distance, they can see the intensity inside. Countless rays of light collide. The flames bloomed and the lava fell drunk. Plus the roar coming from my ears. None are spectacles. Although they have not participated yet, they have already made them feel the fierceness ahead. This is an extremely fierce battle. Kizaru, take me over. I'm more and more looking forward to meeting that kid. Garp laughed, his eyes full of war. Only since the last time I played against Ye Chen. Garp wants to fight Ye Chen all the time, and wants to feel the limit of Ye Chen, whether it is really the same as what he said before. There is still more energy left. Then let's go, Mr. Garp. Kizaru grabbed Garp's shoulder with one hand, his figure turned into a ray of light, hitting the mirror, and heading forward. The light flickered, vanished without a trace in the blink of an eye. At this time, in the center of the battle, the two sides collided, and each time there was an extremely terrifying sound, and the violent power gushed out, almost annihilating the surrounding area. Frost condenses in the surroundings, flames rise, low temperature and high temperature are compatible, turning the surroundings into a strange place. It's like purgatory. Aokiji was panting, his eyes dignified. Whether it is Acids or Gallo, it brings him a lot of pressure. Mr. Admiral, isn't this all right? Gallo looked at Aokiji honestly, covered in armament Haki, rendered with black light, rendering Gallo's figure black with a weird luster, like cast steel, with a different color. Standing there, with suffocating pressure. Admiral doesn't look as good as he said. Ace Desi's eyes boiled with warfare, and the biting air around him rose, almost sinking his surroundings into an ice world. The 18th area has almost become an ice world, under the abilities of Acids and Aokiji. Everything was frozen into frost. This guy Ye Chen, the two monsters I found there. Looking at Acids and Gallo, Aokiji was helpless. In the face of two people, no matter who he is, he will not be false, but he has met two people, and the cooperation and tacit understanding of the two people. One punch is hard to beat four hands. The strength of the two is not much different from him. Facing these two guys, Aokiji really has nothing to do. Call out. Just now, a ray of light fell, Kizaru and Garp slowly fell beside Aokiji. Kizaru looked at Aokiji who was embarrassed next to him, and said in surprise, Aokiji, you look troublesome. Are these two guys so troublesome? You'll know if you try it. Aokiji said angrily. If it were an ordinary pirate, he would have solved it a long time ago, there needs to be so much trouble. Chapter 32. I don't know where Ye Chen got these two guys, and they may not be worse than us. If it weren't for my rich experience, I would have been killed by the two of them. Aokiji said solemnly. The words came out. Garp and Kizaru next to them were a little surprised. Whether it is Gallo, the women who appeared in front of them were never seen before. Fortunately, Gallo said, at least there was some news. But the blue-haired woman, they really have no news at all. Pause time. Kizaru's face became solemn, without the hippie smile of the past, and he didn't want to paddle much in his heart. It is certainly not easy to make Aokiji feel so embarrassed, and to speak such words. If he continues to paddle or look down, he is likely to be torn apart in the next battle. Where is Kuzan, Ye Chen and Akainu? I'm going to meet that guy for a while. Garp laughed. Aokiji pointed to the 17th area next to him. They are right there. The voice fell off. Garp rushed over without looking back. See this scene. Acids activated his ability, and an ice dragon appeared instantly, biting towards Garp. You can't stop his Acids. With a helper, Aokiji suddenly gained a little more confidence, and almost simultaneously used the same ability to stop Acids' ability in midair. Boom. The two collided together, like a huge mountain colliding, bursting one after another, and the ice cubes fell below like rain. Garp took this opportunity to rush into it instantly. And this time, Kizaru's eyes widened, turned to look at Aokiji, and asked, Kuzan, what's the matter? How can that guy have the same ability as you? Single quote. Don't ask me, I don't know either. If you want to know, ask her yourself, but she may not say it. Aokiji spread his hands, expressing helplessness. He also wants to know why Acids has the same ability as him. This is so strange. Generally speaking, the ability of Devil Fruit is unique. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It is impossible for a second identical ability to appear. Although some capable persons are similar, they are only somewhat the same, and will not be exactly the same. But Acids' ability is almost the same as Aokiji's. This is surprising. Is anyone in control of the ability to replicate Devil Fruit? Kizaru's eyes flickered, and he has something to do with the Ministry of Science and Technology of the World Government. Know some things. How much? The Ministry of Science and Technology of the World Government is now vigorously researching Devil Fruit, trying to unlock the mystery of Devil Fruit and apply it elsewhere. The world government's research on Devil Fruit has reached an extremely terrifying level, and Devil Fruit can already be used on objects, such as firearms, or other things. Through Devil Fruit, wisdom is born to other things. However, the biggest research topic of the Ministry of Science and Technology is to copy Devil Fruit's ability. If this can be researched out, they will be able to get a large number of demon fruit power units. Once researched out, various demon fruit power can be mass-produced, such as Aokiji's ability and Akainu's ability. If these abilities are mass-produced, no one in this world will be an opponent of the world government, and the four emperors will be crushed. It's just that this research project is too difficult. Although a part of it has been researched, it cannot be copied perfectly. Kaido's Animal Ability Core is also a researcher project, but it hasn't made much progress. To copy Devil Fruit perfectly, this is too difficult. Kizaru thought it was impossible before. But before Acids used the ability similar to Aokiji, Kizaru couldn't help but think about it. It's impossible. Is anyone really able to copy Devil Fruit successfully? If it succeeds, it will overturn the world. No matter who it is, it must be treated with caution. Kizaru said in a deep voice, Kuzan, Gallo, I will deal with it. As for the girl, you have to deal with it, but you must remember that you must not let her die. I see. Aokiji nodded. Although he doesn't know much about the Ministry of Science and Technology, he also knows some secrets. To this, he quickly understood what Kizaru meant. Ace Day. It is likely to be the product of copying Devil Fruit. If she can be captured by the Ministry of Science and Technology of the world government, this will bring a great breakthrough to the Ministry of Science and Technology. It can even break through this difficult problem. Even if it can't break through, You can also learn some news through a seeds. Kizaru's figure flickered and turned into a ray of light that rushed past, and came to behind Gallo in an instant, saying, Mr. Gallo, have you been kicked by the light? Single quote. What a fast speed. Gallo's eyes flashed. Although he knew Kizaru's speed was astonishing, he was shocked the first time he saw him. This speed is so fast that it is almost impossible to catch with the naked eye, and observation Haki is even more difficult to catch. By the time he reacted, the countermeasures had already come to him. Gallo said nothing. Armament Haki covered his body, while holding his arms, his wings closed, a magic circle looming. Duran's shield. Boom. Kizaru kicked Gallo fiercely, and the huge impact came, and the ice under the feet of the two directly exploded. Just after Gallo's figure went backwards a few meters, he immediately stopped. Gallo spread his wings and smiled honestly. Mr. Kizaru, this is the power of light. Isn't it too weak? Immediately, Gallo grabbed Kizaru. Kizaru furrowed his eyebrows, his right leg gleamed and kicked again. However, still unable to cause much damage to Gallo, he just made Gallo back a few steps without leaving even a trace on his body. What kind of physique is this? How hard? Seeing that Gallo was indifferent, and seeing that his abilities were inadequate for the first time, Kizaru's heart Shunin couldn't help but cursed. Gallo's body was too hard, like a rock, indestructible. Kizaru's abilities are not able to be used at all. After being kicked, ordinary people will basically be kicked off by him. Only facing Gallo, he couldn't kick off at all, and even Kizaru felt some pain in his feet. Chapter 33 Auto-generated chapter title. Novel recommendation. Title. NBA. Unlock Generation of Miracles at the start. Chapters. 385 ongoing. Description. Lin Mo traveled to New York in the summer of 2007 and unlocked the Generation of Miracles in the beginning. Atsushi Murasakibara, superhuman physical talent, Daiki Aomine, formless shot, Shintaro Midorima, high 3-point, Tetsuya Kuroko, super fast pawing, and Seijiro Akashi, Emperor I. Since then, Lin Mo has made the whole league feel unprecedented despair. James. I'm the most versatile basketball star of all time, and Lin Mo he has long surpassed history. My grandmother could see that Lin Mo possessed a more terrifying dominance than I did at my peak. Jordan. Please stop calling me the god of basketball. If Lin Mo appeared in the 90s, my 6 rings would be gone. Chapter 34. I want to see how hard your body is today. Kizaru's face sank, his fingers shot out a golden light, and the laser shot out. Since kicking can't work, it's remote. Boom. The laser instantly fell on Gallo, and a roar erupted. It's just that the laser didn't pass through Gallo's body, not even a trace of it was left. Gallo looked at the position of the laser and grinned. It doesn't hurt or itchy, are you really Admiral? It's much weaker than the guy next to you. Gallo's body itself was cast with a special physique, and with countless magic in the shower, the resistance almost reached an extremely terrifying level, and even diamonds were not harder than him. This is the monster from there. Kizaru's face sank. Shunin couldn't help cursing. Gallo's body is too hard, making him a little suspicious of life. Is this really a creature? Or is it capable? But even if it is a capable person, there is no such a strong body, similar to a stone-capable person, he has not encountered it before, and has also fought against it. Facing his abilities, those guys were instantly penetrated. Even the Diamond Man Whitebeard. He didn't dare to face his attack easily. Sky Kong Yunjian. Kizaru's expression was gloomy, his hands clasped together, and he stretched out, revealing a golden lightsaber slowly. Holding a golden lightsaber. I'm curious, where did Ye Chen find your monsters? According to your strength, no matter where you place it, you are a powerful person who is famous all over the world. Why is it only now known by everyone? He is curious. Whether it is a Seeds or Gallo, both possess extremely powerful strength. In the new world where the monster is pushing, the strength of both can stand at the top. Such a strong man, why hasn't there been any news before? Instead, did they appear after Ye Chen came out? We are awakened by Ye Chen. A green magic circle appeared on Gallo's body, and his body instantly disappeared in place. Next moment, Gallo appeared next to Kizaru, his fists were like hammers, toward Kizaru's hammer. Call out. Kizaru's figure flickered, and he opened a distance of tens of meters. Boom. The fists fell on the ground, and the entire ice surface was torn apart and exploded. Spider web-like cracks covered the entire ice surface. What's the matter with that guy Kizaru? Seeing Kizaru being crushed and beaten, Aokiji was a little confused. Could it be that this old guy is paddling again? Turned out to be beaten by the coercion. This is a bit unreasonable. Normally, Gallo's strength is not as good as Kizaru's. Only, when he saw Kizaru with a serious face, he suddenly understood. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Kizaru did not paddle. He is serious, but it really can't beat the opponent. At the same time, seeing that Kizaru's abilities could not cause any harm to Gallo. He understood everything. Kizaru's strength is very strong, but Gallo's body is too hard. Kizaru, your attack poses no threat to Gallo. To this, Kizaru was beaten down. This battle is a bit difficult. I hope Mr. Garp and Akainu will quickly clean up Ye Chen. Single quote. Seeing Kizaru being crushed and beaten, plus he was a bit stinging when facing a seeds. It is estimated that they will not be able to tell the winner in a short time. I can only hope that Akainu and Garp are there. If Ye Chen is defeated by them together, then there will be combat power to support them. The balance between the two sides was broken. They will be able to win. At the same time, area number 17. At this time, it has become a world of fire. Flames are rising, lava is rolling down, flames are everywhere, and the extremely high temperature burns the atmosphere, almost distorting the surrounding space. In the center, Ye Chen and Akainu glared at each other, their eyes calm, and their killing intent was revealed. It's sad that this guy is hailed as the strongest marshal. It's really terrifying. Although he has never played against other admiral. But, the oppressive force Akainu brought to him was the greatest he encountered. Of course, when I met Garp, that old guy was not serious, but this time Akainu was serious, trying to understand himself in every move. It seems that I can only use that trick. Ye Chen held Ryūjin Jakka tightly, his expression was calm, and he uttered word by word, hell hot. The voice fell off. Boom. The boundless breath bloomed, and the entire area on the 17th was violently shaken. One after another flame pillars broke out of the ground, as if an encircling circle surrounded Akainu layer by layer. Dozens of pillars linger together, like a prison, restraining Akainu in place. Simultaneously, the temperature of the flame pillar rose to an extremely terrifying level. Everywhere it went was burned, the ground was pitch black, and the air was burnt to warp the space, as if the space was burned to the distortion by the high temperature. Just now, a heroic voice sounded. Ye Chen boy, the old man is here. Last time you said that you didn't use your full strength, today I will try your full strength. Single quote. Boom. Garp is completely dark, armament Haki is like a piece of armor, covering Garp together. Boom. The magical soldier, Garp fell on the ground like a meteorite, and the whole ground exploded when it landed. See this scene. A ray of light flashed in Ye Chen's eyes, and the corner of his mouth raised a curve. He said, even the marine hero Garp is here. You Marines really don't look at me. Old guy, is there anyone besides you in Marines reinforcements? And the guy Kizaru. Garp answered when he asked, and didn't hide it. 3 Admiral and 1 Marine hero. Here the Marine formation. Ye Chen was a little surprised. This is so fast that it can be compared to the top war. Except for a few special people. Marines' top combat power is here. This is too dear to me. Ye Chen's mouth twitches. Somewhat speechless. This lineup can be used to play 4 emperors, and now it is actually coming to play his rookie pirate group. Sure enough, Marine has been eyeing me before, these guys. If only celestial dragons died, so many people would be sent. Ye Chen really didn't believe it. Chapter 35. A rookie pirate group. Be so concerned by Marine. Even if Ye Chen has a big heart, he can't help but sigh. This Marine also valued him too much. 4 supreme combat power. It feels okay to fight the 4 Emperor's pirates. Now he is a rookie pirate group who is hitting something special. If it weren't for the strength of the people he summoned, he wouldn't necessarily be planted here today. Hello, old man Garp, you are all famous people in the world, 2 teamed up to beat me a pirate who just went out to sea, really okay. Are you afraid of others' jokes when you say it? Single quote. He is really a Buddha now. Just send out 2 Admiral. He expected this. But all 3 Admiral were dispatched, plus 1 Garp. He really didn't expect it. This F***CK. Amount. Garp touched the back of his head and laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, it seems something is really bad. Akainu, go with you, I'll deal with this guy. Garp said. Akainu suddenly became unhappy. I've been playing with this guy for so long, you will grab my place when you come. Where is my face? Akainu said with a cold face and said coldly, Lieutenant General Garp, this is not your battlefield, please get out of the way, this is my order as Admiral. Single quote. Akainu kid, your orders are useless to me. Garp said nonchalantly. With his status, Admiral really may not be able to instruct him. It may not even be possible for Sengoku. Unless it's really about Marine's major issues, Garp can obey orders, other things may not be able to make him obey. Mr. Akainu, you Admiral are not good, you can't even command a Lieutenant General. Did you go through the back door to become Admiral? Ye Chen on the side added fuel and vinegar. He happily watched the two fight. This is the best. Humph. Akainu snorted coldly and said, we're going to talk about our business, now we're going to clean up this kid. Single quote. As long as this kid is caught, if you want to fight this kid one-on-one, whatever you want, whether it's Marine headquarters or anywhere else. It is good. Although Garp is a bit nonsense and a tendon sometimes, he is also a person who understands the overall situation and knows the importance of Ye Chen. If Ye Chen does not take it back, the pressure on the world government will be greater. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Although he doesn't care. But Marine still needs to think about it. Really boring. Between words, Ye Chen held Ryūjin Jakka in his hand, and slashed towards the two of them. One Setsuna. The rising flame pillars began to gather, and dozens of flame pillars moved towards the two of them. Finger pistol overlord gun. Seeing the flame pillars moving around, Garp frowned. This time he didn't forcibly penetrate the pillars or touch them with his body. Instead, he used Marine 6 style's finger pistol. Boom. The shock wave rushed out, and instantly passed through the flame pillar, blasting the flame pillar into a gap. But soon, the flame pillar healed. Spitfire. Knowing the temperature of these flames, Akainu didn't dare to fight it hard, and with a move, the lava shot from a distance hit the flame pillar like a cannonball. However, like Garp, the flame pillar exploded and quickly returned to normal. Seeing that his attacks were useless against the flame pillars, Garp and Akainu's eyes instantly fell on Ye Chen's body. Call out. The speed of the two was very fast, and they rushed out like lightning, facing Ye Chen himself. Ye Chen looked indifferent, looked at the two of them, and vomited softly. Burst. The voice fell. In a flash, the flame pillars of everyone gathered, followed by a bright light flickering. Boom. The earth-shaking explosion sounded, and the bright light flooded the entire area on the 17th, and even swept the area on the 18th. Run. See the light sweeping in front of you. Aokiji and Kizaru's face changed drastically, and they fled towards the distance. While Gallo flew up, Acids jumped on his back and hovered in the air. Boom boom boom. The deafening sound cut through the entire Chambord Islands, and even the entire Chambord Islands vibrated violently. As if a terrifying earthquake had occurred, the entire Chambord Islands was crumbling. It seems to be blown up next moment. Simultaneously. The sea outside was also affected by the shaking, the calm sea was broken, and the waves swept towards the distance one by one. An extremely terrifying wave soon formed. This explosion is really terrible. More than the 17th area. The surrounding area was also affected, and the island was almost destroyed. Feel this shocking sense of shock. People in other parts of the Chambord Islands shivered. What happened to this? Single quote. Have there been a major earthquake? Single quote. This is too scary. Is it possible that Marine and Ye Chen haven't finished their fight yet? Single quote. Did anyone tell what happened? Everyone was dumbfounded. The sudden shock came, making them feel deeply in danger, as if the entire Chambord Islands were about to be blown up in the next moment. The area in other places is okay. But people who are close to the 17th area are in trouble. The violent power swept through and swallowed many people watching the theater in an instant. They didn't even have time to say the screams and were directly overwhelmed. And this time, Rayleigh just arrived. He stopped, looked at the area in front of him, his eyes widened and his face was full of horror. At this moment, the smoke dissipated. In front of him, there was a huge pothole, the surrounding sea water poured down, slowly forming a pool of water. Area number 17 is gone. It was blown up directly. Even in the area next to it, many places have followed suit. Everything is destroyed. Under that terrifying force, it was directly destroyed and completely clean, leaving only a huge and incomparable pit. Chapter 36. Seeing the huge pothole in front of him, Rayleigh's eyes widened. The whole person was stunned there. The entire area on the 17th disappeared. This is something he didn't expect. Call out. Just now. A figure rushed over from a distance and slowly landed not far from Rayleigh. Seeing the voice in front of him, Rayleigh flashed his eyes and whispered, Ye Chen. Single quote. The words came out. Ye Chen turned his head, looked at Rayleigh, and smiled. This is not the King Rayleigh. Did not expect to see you here. Single quote. Leave quickly, there are your old friends here. If you stay here again, you won't be able to live in seclusion here. The moment the sound fell, 2 figures flew out in the distance. The 2 of them were embarrassed, and their faces were covered with black, like black people. Akainu and Garp. Akainu's face was ugly, cold sweat broke out, and his left arm was broken and blood was flowing. As for Garp, it was better, but his face was not good. Obviously, the outbreak just now gave them a lot of pressure. Garp, Akainu. See 2 people. Rayleigh was dumbfounded. Even if Akainu is here, Garp is here too. Simultaneously. Garp also saw Rayleigh and smiled. Rayleigh, long time no see. Single quote. Long time no see. Rayleigh responded with a stiff face. To be honest, he really didn't see the 2 people in front of him very much. At the same time, Gallo brought Acids to Ye Chen's side. The other side, Kizaru brought Aokiji over. Everyone appeared. The surroundings began to calm down, and the atmosphere seemed extremely depressing. 3 Admiral and Garp. I saw a few people in front of me. Rayleigh was silent. Looking at Ye Chen's gaze also changed. He said, Ye Chen, what have you done to get these guys out? Could you be the Holy Land to slaughter the celestial dragons? Single quote. Rayleigh couldn't figure it out. It's just a rookie pirate group, why are there so many people? 3 Admiral will not say when he arrives. Garp actually came too. This combat power is simply Garp, enough to deal with 4 emperors. Right now, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It turned out to be just dealing with a rookie pirate group. If this spreads out, it will inevitably shock the world. This salary is simply nothing. Even the 4 emperors may not have this treatment, right? Don't ask me, I don't know, although I happened to kill a celestial dragons. But first didn't expect Marine to see me so much. Single quote. So much combat power was directly dispatched. Single quote. Ye Chen is also speechless. 3rd Admiral was dispatched and did not say. The old guy Garp was also dispatched. 4 supreme combat power. This is really outrageous. Ye Chen, you are too threatening. You were only planning to dispatch 2 Marine Admiral, but you killed celestial dragons. We made sure to take you back to dispatch these people. Now it seems that Sengoku made the right decision. If we are dispatched, one of us may die on you. Single quote. Garp said with a deep gaze. The combat power of the Black Crow pirates was unexpected and extremely terrifying. Far from being a normal rookie pirate group, Ye Chen's combat power is not to say, the strength is comparable to him. There is also the ability of the flame, even better than Akainu. Simultaneously, Gallo and Acids' combat power is also extremely terrifying. They just learned that neither Kizaru nor Aokiji have gained much benefit. The 2 are comparable in strength to Admiral. Old man Garp, you are a bit exaggerated. If Admiral is so easy to kill, it won't be called the supreme combat power. Bai Yi said lightly. Pouch. Garp chuckled and said, if those guys are the same as you, there will still be marine affairs and world government affairs there. Single quote. Speaking of which, Garp looked at Rayleigh and said in a deep voice, Rayleigh, what do you plan to do? It's just for the show. Single quote. The words came out. Everyone's eyes fell on Rayleigh. Rayleigh's appearance is indeed unexpected, and it is also the existence of breaking the deadlock. Once he joins that side, he will tilt towards it. Without Rayleigh's presence, Marine would still have a good chance of winning, but if Rayleigh joined, it would be hard to say. Gar, it's a shame that such a man keeps him here. I want to see this man running towards the sea. Don't you agree? Single quote. Rayleigh smiled softly, although he didn't admit it bluntly, but the meaning was clear. He is on Ye Chen's side. Rayleigh, you have to think carefully. Garp said in a deep voice. Garp, we have known each other for so many years, don't you know my character? Rayleigh smiled heartily, not moved by Garp's words. Upon seeing this, Garp looked at Rayleigh deeply. Then he greeted everyone. Let's go, this time the plan has failed. Garp, we haven't failed yet. Akainu roared with dissatisfaction. Run before finishing the fight. How can that be? Moreover, with so much combat power, the Black Crow Pirates group retreated completely. If this spreads out, Marine's reputation will plummet. Isn't that arm taut enough? Ye Chen still has more power. With the addition of Rayleigh, we don't have any chance of winning here. And you have experienced Ye Chen's ability just now. If he continues to play, how many times do you think you can bear it, and how many times do the others can bear it? Heard these words, Akainu fell silent. The explosion just now was truly earth-shattering. It made him feel scared now. If it weren't for Garp's timely action, he might have been swallowed by the flames. Subsequently, Marine retreated, extremely decisive. Even gone. Ye Chen was dumbfounded. He thought it would continue. Unexpectedly, Marine just left. It was too unexpected. Chapter 37. Marine decisively withdrew from the people's expectations. But it is also expected. Marine's combat power is not bad. But Ye Chen's side is not bad either. Both Acids and Gallo are admiral-level combat power, not to mention Rayleigh is also helping. Add Ye Chen himself. Really fight. It's really hard to say that the two sides have more advantages. Not to mention, Ye Chen himself has not yet used his real strength. Bankai cannibalism is too knife. Ye Chen was originally intended to use it. It was just Rayleigh's intervention and Marine decisively left, and he gave up. Mr. Rayleigh, thank you for your help, I owe you a favor. Ye Chen turned to look at Rayleigh next to him, and smiled slightly. Without Rayleigh's help, this battle is really hard to say. Marine, who has a numerical advantage, is still extremely terrifying. Although he is very confident in his cannibalism, he may not win. Don't thank me. Rayleigh raised a smile at the corner of his mouth, looked at Ye Chen carefully, and said softly, I just don't want to see a man like you stay here. You should go to the wider sea. Where is your stage? There is no reason to stop a man from going to the sea. Hear this. Ye Chen was stunned. Rayleigh valued it so much. It was indeed beyond his expectation. After all, the two did not know each other. Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Rayleigh. Ye Chen smiled slightly and paused for a while and said, it's just that Mr. Rayleigh, with your appearance, it should be difficult to live in seclusion here, right? Marine opened one eye before, but now world government may not agree to it. Single quote. Rayleigh used to live in seclusion here, just because he didn't do anything extraordinary, which has been the case for 20 years. That's why Marine is considered invisible, but now that Rayleigh appears, it is difficult for Marine to be invisible. After all, he helped Ye Chen. Killed Ye Chen of Celestial Dragons. The position of Celestial Dragons is still very high in the world government. Don't worry about this. Rayleigh smiled slightly and said, since I dared to show up to help you, I have naturally thought about the consequences, and although the status of Celestial Dragons is high, it is not as high as you think. That's just a little guy. The world government may not do anything to us. It seems that Rayleigh has many secrets. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It is estimated that there should have been transactions with the world government that year. Seeing Rayleigh so confident, Ye Chen guessed roughly. Most of the time, Rayleigh made some transactions with the senior officials of the world government. I don't know what it is. But it should be very important, otherwise Rayleigh would not be so confident. If the world government takes action against you, you can tell us in advance, and we will come to help no matter where you are. This is the favor we owe you. Ye Chen said seriously. He is not a person who wants to owe favor to others. Pay it back if you can. There was a hint of surprise in Rayleigh's eyes. He didn't seem to expect Ye Chen to say that. At the same time, his impression of Ye Chen improved a lot. If there is any trouble, I will contact you at that time. Well, the matter is over, let's go to the bar. Okay. Subsequently, everyone left and came to Shachi to rip off. Inside the bar, at this time, only Aunt Sha was left. She stood on the bar with a cigarette in her hand, took a sip, and said to Ye Chen and others at the door, meet me again, Ye Chen. Well, Aunt Sha, come to order some wine. Immediately. The crowd returned to their seats and sat down. Aunt Sha brought the wine over, put it on the stage, and said, did those Marines retreat? Ye Chen picked up a wine glass and opened it directly. It has been retired, thanks to Mr. Rayleigh's help, but Marine really looks up to me. Since 3 Admiral has been dispatched, he has sent the old guy Garp over. Ha ha ha, they probably let them come here for safety reasons. They just killed Celestial Dragons and wouldn't send so many people out. Have you offended Marine before? Rayleigh was a little curious. It was the first time he saw the 3 Admirals set out just to deal with a rookie pirate group, and he also brought Garp, the Marine legend. I played against Garp once in the East China Sea. How is the result? Let's evenly divide the colors. That's no wonder. Rayleigh felt relieved, his eyes flickered, and they were all tied with Garp. In addition, Ye Chen's men are also strong, so it's normal to dispatch so many Admiral. 3 Admiral is here, and so is Garp. Aunt Sha next to her was surprised when she heard a few people talking. She knew that there were many people coming from Marine, but she didn't expect that all 3 Admiral would come, and Garp himself. This kind of lineup is too luxurious, even if the 4 Emperors are here, it may not be dispatched to such a lineup. This can be seen. Enough to see how Marine values Ye Chen himself. It's incredible. Aunt Sha looked at Ye Chen deeply, her eyes flashed with astonishment. The level of horror of this rookie pirate group far exceeded her mind. Facing such a lineup, Ye Chen, they can all retreat. This means that in addition to Ye Chen's strength, his members are not weak, at least able to face Admiral head to head. The strength is absolutely terrifying. New world is about to change. If these guys enter, they will definitely have a place. Aunt Sha whispered in her heart. She almost foresaw the scene of Ye Chen and others entering the new world. That is absolutely earth-shattering. The balance of the 4 emperors over the years. It is estimated to be broken. Chapter 38. New World. Inside a magnificent palace, an albatross with a black top hat was sitting on a chair, and several phone bugs were placed in front of him. How is the investigation of the Chambord Islands matter? The albatross spoke to the phone worm in front of him. President, because the battle between the two sides is too fierce, many of us have been affected, and we haven't got all the information. I just got a general news that Marine values the Black Crow pirates very seriously. From the very beginning, they sent Akainu and Aokiji Admiral, just to deal with the Black Crow pirates. But even so, the 2 admirals didn't benefit from facing the Black Crow pirates. And it is rumored that there are reinforcements behind Marine, but I don't know who is supporting it. It is very likely that it will be the 3rd Admiral Kizaru. President, the news on our side is the same. Basically all 3 Admiral have appeared, just to deal with the Black Crow pirates. The albatross in front of him is Morgans, the president of the World Economic News, and he is also one of the 6 kings of the Dark World. His World Economic News is one of the largest newspapers today, and his newsbirds are spread all over the world. Basically, most of the news comes from his newspaper. And because of this reason, Morgans controlled the power of the fishing boat. Whether it was the 4 emperors of New World or the world government, he was deeply jealous, and he even dared to kill the spies that the world government arranged for him. At the same time, the news he worked on can get a lot of attention. If the pirate he follows is written into the news as a special topic, that pirate can quickly become a superstar. Almost can be famous in the world in a short time. The reason why Ye Chen is known to everyone is that he gave Ye Chen one of the biggest topics, which made Ye Chen's reputation soar. On the original, Luffy was also because of him. He was portrayed as the fifth emperor of the sea. Although his strength is not comparable, his fame has gone up. And everyone thought it was the fifth emperor. Hearing everyone's answers, Morgan said in a deep voice, Marine values Ye Chen so much. It seems that it is not only because of celestial dragons, there are probably other reasons. And ordinary celestial dragons won't let Marine go so far. By the way, what was the result? Has the Black Crow pirates been caught or is it? Although the three Admiral dispatches surprised Morgans, he still paid attention to the results after the war. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. If Ye Chen and the others are okay, then this will be earth-shattering big news. At this time, a phone worm with glasses said anxiously, I don't know the result, but according to the information received, all members of the Black Crow pirates drank in a bar without damage, and at the same time the Chambord Islands area on the 17th was completely wiped out. In this battle, it is very likely that the Black Crow pirates will win. Although I don't know how they did it, Marine did not do anything against them. The words came out. Morgan's face changed, his eyes glowed with enthusiasm, and he said, is this news accurate? Single quote. Pause time. All the phone bugs said at the same time, President, it's true. Single quote. I see, you go and continue to collect news about the Black Crow pirates. Heard this sentence. Everyone hung up one after another. Quickly, calm was restored all around. The three Admiral didn't even break the Black Crow pirates. Is this due to strength or is there a deal between the two parties? Morgans hesitated. Generally speaking, the three Admiral shots, even the four Emperors pirate group may not be able to retreat. The Black Crow pirates actually retreated all over. He had to think deeply. It may be that the two parties reached an agreement that made the Black Crow pirates unscathed. If only relying on strength to retreat, Marine would even dare not do anything. Morgans couldn't believe it. That's not right. They played so fiercely. The area on the 17th was gone. There is no reason to stop. Moreover, Ye Chen killed the celestial dragons. According to the character of the world government, he would inevitably kill the chickens and the monkeys. It is impossible to let the Black Crow pirates stay. Could it be that they really relied on their strength to push Marine back? If this is the case, this rookie pirate group possesses extraordinary human abilities. Morgans was shocked. If it really depends on strength, then it really changes. The pattern of the world will change. As long as they enter the new world, the rule of the four emperors may change as a result, and it is not difficult even for the emperor to fall. This news must be released. Morgans had a clever idea, holding the pen beside him, ready to start moving. The unprecedented rookie pirate group, the Black Crow pirate group. Take this as the title. Morgans began to write. About 3 days later, countless news birds flew around the world with the latest newspapers. Four emperors, the first half of the Grand Line, New World. People in various sea areas were shocked when they saw this news. An invisible storm swept across. The reputation of the Black Crow Pirates group has grown by leaps and bounds, and has become famous all over the world. Chapter 39. New World. The Whitebeard Pirates. Marco looked at the information in his hand attentively, his eyes widened, a little shocked. Seeing Whitebeard on the side, he was a little surprised and smiled. Gula-la-la, what happened to Marco? What's the big deal outside? Father, something big has indeed happened outside. Not long ago, Ye Chen, the Black Crow pirate group, took action against celestial dragons in the Chambord Islands and killed the celestial dragons directly. Kill celestial dragons. Whitebeard was a little surprised, put down the big bowl in his hand, and said, this kid is a little bit courageous. He even dared to do something against celestial dragons on the site of the world government. Chambord Islands. Although it is the junction of the two seas, it is also the site of the world government, close to the Holy Land Mary Geoise and Marine headquarters. It can be said that once something happens there, people from the world government and Marine can support the past as soon as possible. Father, this is nothing, it's not the most shocking among the intelligence this time. Isn't such information. Then what happened? Is it possible that those guys left safely? Okay. Marco nodded and said in a deep voice. According to the intelligence, after Celestial Dragons was killed, Marine responded and sent two admirals, Akainu and Aokiji, to the Chambord Islands, preparing to fight the Black Crow pirates. Do it. Single quote. At the same time, the Black Crow pirates did not leave immediately after killing Celestial Dragons, but stayed in Chambord Islands. The words came out. All around suddenly fell silent. Boom. Whitebeard took a sip of wine, then smashed the glass on the deck, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. Good guy, killed Celestial Dragons in the Chambord Islands. He didn't leave immediately. Instead, he stayed in the Chambord Islands, so courageous. Single quote. Killing Celestial Dragons in the Chambord Islands, few people dared to do this, and at the same time did not run away. This is even more unexpected. Even Whitebeard didn't expect it. Generally speaking, ordinary people will leave. These guys don't leave, obviously something extraordinary. It's not that there is a mental problem, it's that I am confident in my own strength. Father, this is not the most important thing. Marco took a deep breath, and said in a deep voice, According to the information, after Akainu and the others landed on the Chambord Islands, they immediately started with the Black Crow pirates, but Marine did not get the advantage. I didn't expect the people who caught the Black Crow pirates directly, but were suppressed by the Black Crow pirates. Also, Marine has sent to support. I heard that Kizaru is also here. 3 admirals are here. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. They are all dispatched. Normally they should be able to suppress the Black Crow pirates, but it seems that the Black Crow pirates retreat all over, and the Black Crow pirates seems to stay in the Chambord for a day before finally leaving. Quote. Finished. Marco said with a serious face, and said in a deep voice, Father, this Black Crow pirate group is incredible. If they come in New World, they won't know what waves will be caused again. Hardly need to think about it. Can repel the pirate group of 3 admiral, even if there are not many people. But once you enter New World, it will inevitably cause violent fluctuations, and even changing the situation in New World is easy. It's hard to find top-notch powerhouses, but mass forces are easy, at least for a pirate group like Ye Chen. Almost. After the news spread, Ye Chen wanted to expand his influence. As long as it was publicized, countless influences would join. Goo la 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 la. Whitebeard laughed. These guys are a bit interesting. I look forward to them coming in New World. Did they come in New World? It's not clear for the time being, but it is rumored that someone saw Gallo leaving the Chambord Islands with others. I just don't know where the target is. Since they have all come to the Chambord Islands, it is estimated that their goal is also New World. It is estimated that it will not take long before we can get news from them. Let the people below collect news. If there is any news from them, tell me. I am very interested in these guys. Understand. Marco nodded. He knew that Whitebeard had a heartbeat. Although he didn't know if it was a normal heartbeat, he was obviously interested in the Black Crow pirates. Only, how many people are not interested in such a rookie pirate group? After all, they all have such a record. The news spread. Both the 4 emperors and other forces were shocked by this information. 3 admiral can't stop the pirate group even if they move out. What does this mean? The pirate group with only 3 people, almost 3 admirals side by side. This is Marine's supreme combat power. If the 3 of them can match the 3 admiral, once these people enter the New World, they will definitely break the balance. The balance of the 4 emperors over the past few years may end here. It didn't take long for the news to spread. Marine's bounty for Ye Chen and others has also come out. Ye Chen. Bounty. Gallo. Bounty. Acedes. Bounty. Bounty breaks through the sky. With only 3 people in the pirate group, each person's bounty starts at 1 billion yuan. Remember, it is a bounty of 5 billion. It's comparable to Whitebeard himself. To know, the Black Crow Pirates group is just a group of pirates that haven't been out to sea for long, but Whitebeard has been active in this sea for decades. Chapter 40. Kill celestial dragons and repel 3 admiral. Is this true? How strong is this rookie pirate group? Isn't it fake news? It's not realistic. This information seems to be done by Morgans himself. The information should be accurate. If he did it, it should be true, but it's too ridiculous, right? Killing celestial dragons in Chambord Islands, facing the 3 admiral, can you still retreat? This is really amazing. Some of them will be fun in the future. Once they enter the New World, the battle for territory will become a problem again. There may be a 5th emperor. It's not possible, it's absolute. It's just rumored that Kaido is very interested in Gallo of the Black Crow Pirates. What might happen to both sides? Then it will be fun. The 2 sides may go to war. Hey, if the 2 sides go to war, you can know if the Black Crow Pirates are really that strong. The news came out. Everyone talked a lot, each with their own opinions. But most of them were surprised. At the same time, some people didn't believe it, but after knowing that it was Morgans, they basically believed it. Because for so many years, Morgan's intelligence has basically not made any mistakes. As for why there are only 3 admiral and no Garp. That's because when Garp entered, basically no one saw it. The people I saw basically disappeared in the area of number 17 as the smoke disappeared. And so, Garp was not included in the intelligence. If everyone knows that Garp is also inside, it is estimated that the whole world will shake a little bit. Although it is already shaking enough now. Simultaneously. The reputation of Ye Chen and others was shocking, and many people also heard Kaido's previous message that they wanted Gallo to join the pirates. According to Kaido's personality, it is inevitable to get what you want, and it should be unrealistic to give up because of this. If the 2 sides meet, it is estimated that some conflicts will occur. At this time, Ye Chen did not know about the external disturbances. Only after leaving the Chambord Islands, they moved towards the New World. They are still in the sky now. Above the vast expanse of sky, Gallo's huge body straddled the air, as if it were some wild monster, covering a large area below. Ding! The new sign in task is released. Please go to Moon Land to sign in. A cold voice sounded. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Ye Chen, who was resting on Gallo's back, woke up suddenly and slowly opened his eyes. Beside him, lay Acedes. The new sign in task is finally here. Hearing that there was a new sign in task, Ye Chen was a little excited, but he was a little confused when he thought of the sign in location. Because of this place, he didn't even know where it was. I haven't even heard of it. Not to mention there. The Moon Kingdom, he knew that there seemed to be this place in other worlds, but he really didn't know the pirate world. Gario find a place to drop. I don't know where it is. He can only find a place to ask someone to ask. Some intelligence agencies should know where it is. Captain, there is an island not far away. Where do you want to descend? That's it. It is good. Upon receiving the order, Gallo moved downwards. Just below, there is a small island. It's not a big island, but it's not small. Quickly, Gallo's figure appeared on the top of the island. His size was even bigger than the entire island, and he directly covered the entire island. The people below stared at Gallo in the sky with wide eyes. Almost stunned. They had never seen such a huge creature. Although Sea Kings had such a big one, other than that, they had never seen such a huge creature. What kind of monster is this? Wait, this seems to be Gallo from the Black Crow Pirates. Single quote. The guy who offers a 1.5 billion bounty. Correct. Single quote. Oh my god, why are they here? Single quote. New world is going to turn the sky, the Black Crow Pirates have entered the new world. Everyone was shocked. Gallo's arrival almost radiated a message. The Black Crow Pirates are coming in new world. At the same time, Gallo stopped over a pier. Ye Chen and Aceeds jumped off when they saw this. Subsequently, Gallo's figure also shrank and turned into an ordinary figure, falling beside Ye Chen and others. Go in and take a look. Ye Chen greeted everyone to step into the island. When the people around saw the three of them, they avoided one after another, showing fear. Their record has been spread throughout New World, so most people know their existence. At the same time, in a room on the island, a pirate hurriedly walked in and said to a man wearing a pink feather coat and sunglasses inside in fear. Master Doflamingo, the latest news is that members of the Black Crow Pirates have appeared at the pier. The words came out. Doflamingo stood up suddenly with a solemn expression. The news is accurate. Single quote. Accurate. Damn, how come these guys are here? Doflamingo was speechless. He didn't expect to meet Ye Chen in such a broken place. Others may question Ye Chen's strength, but Doflamingo has multiple identities. He knows that Ye Chen did repel the three Admiral at the time. Chapter 41. What are they doing here? Doflamingo really doesn't understand why Ye Chen and the others come here. Because this place is not well known in New World. It can only be regarded as an ordinary island. But this place is very important for Doflamingo, because it is his stronghold in New World. There was something during this period, so he came to deal with it, but he didn't expect to encounter these people. Let those who watch those guys retreat. Don't offend them. Doflamingo told him to go down. He knew well that he was okay with ordinary people. Facing these monsters, he didn't look enough. Yes, after getting the order, everyone retired directly. At the same time, Ye Chen asked about the location of the Moon Kingdom. But without exception, no one knows where the Moon Kingdom is. I asked nearly dozens of people, but I didn't have a clue at all. My sirs, maybe you can go to an intelligence station in front. Doflamingo is inside, and some of his forces may know where the Moon Kingdom is. At this time, one timidly looked at Ye Chen and the others, and pointed to the front weakly and said. When he spoke, his whole body trembled, as if he had seen some wild beast. Doflamingo is here. Single quote. Hearing these words, Ye Chen's eyes lit up. He is very familiar with this guy. After all, he has a lot of appearance in the original book, and his weird character is easy to remember. At the same time, Doflamingo's identity has many identities, and he knows a lot of secrets. Others may not know where the Moon Kingdom is. But Doflamingo should know. Even if he didn't know, the people in his intelligence agency should also know. Got news. Ye Chen took Aceeds and others to leave. Finally gone. So scary. Seeing Ye Chen and the others leave, the person suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, and rushed to escape after a catastrophe. It didn't take long. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Following the man's directions, Ye Chen came to a room. Glancing at the sign, Ye Chen and others walked in. One enters. There was a middle-aged man who came to meet him. When he saw Ye Chen and the others, his pupils shrank, cold sweat broke out, and he pretended to be calm and asked, "A few guests, we are closed here, you can come again later." Because of Doflamingo's order, he really didn't want to have any relationship with the few people in front of him, let alone any conflict. So I want to use this excuse to let Ye Chen and others leave. Let Doflamingo come out. I have something to ask him. Single quote. Ye Chen glanced at the middle-aged man and said lightly. The words came out. The middle-aged man wiped the sweat from his face, smiled and said, "This guest, we don't have Doflamingo here. If you don't want to die, let Doflamingo come out, and that guy should know that I'm coming. Tell that guy, if you don't come out, don't blame me for cleaning up his pirate group." The voice fell. Boom. The door at the back opened. Doflamingo walked over slowly with arrogant steps, with a smile on his face. "Fooferfer, isn't this the famous Black Crow Pirates? I don't know what you are looking for. Why did these guys come to the door? Is it possible that you came to me specifically?" Doflamingo's eyes flickered, and his eyes hovered over Ye Chen. He had to think so. Few people knew about this place at all, and he happened to be here during this time. Ye Chen came to the door. And still specifically looking for him. He couldn't help thinking more. Although all this is a coincidence, it's just that Doflamingo doesn't think so. Nothing. Ye Chen said lightly. I just want to ask if you know where the Moon Kingdom is. Single quote. Heard this sentence. Doflamingo was suddenly stunned. Just this thing. Just want to ask for directions. He couldn't help asking. Just this little thing. Single quote. Okay. Ye Chen smiled slightly. Is it possible that what you think it is? Although I know that you and Kaido cooperate, but I will not embarrass you. For a 4, you are really joking. Doflamingo smiled stiffly and said, how can I cooperate with Kaido? Single quote. Now he dare not admit that he has cooperated with Kaido, once he admits that these people did this to him. After all, everyone now knows that Kaido is about to deal with Ye Chen and others. Simultaneously, Doflamingo glanced at Gallo one more time, a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. Stop talking about this, tell me how to get to Moon Country. Give me a pointer at the same time. Ye Chen didn't bother to talk nonsense. He would deal with Kaido's things sooner or later, but he would not attack Doflamingo. Unless this guy doesn't know good or bad. Call. Doflamingo took a deep breath and said with a smile. For a 4, I can do such a small thing, I'll wait for someone to bring the pointer of the Moon Kingdom over. Single quote. You may have to wait for a while. As long as it doesn't trouble him, Doflamingo tries his best to satisfy Ye Chen and others. After all, these 3 guys have repelled the 3 Admirals' ruthless people. If there is a conflict, Doflamingo really doesn't think he can leave safely. His strength is okay against the rest of the people, but facing a monster of this kind of combat power, it is still not enough. Chapter 42. Sit down here, everyone. With a smile on his face, Doflamingo respectfully led Ye Chen and others into a room. Then he greeted the people below to prepare refreshments. He sat next to him and laughed. Fur, I have heard of the name for a long time. I heard that you killed celestial dragons in the Chambord Islands and retreated in the face of San Admiral. At that time, he was frightened by everyone's bold Yamato. Now, I really want to see you all, I didn't expect to see it here. There are many people in this world who want to kill celestial dragons, but you are the only one who can take action. Doflamingo's eyes shimmered, bright and uncertain. No matter who it is, he will be surprised when he hears about the Chambord Islands. Kill celestial dragons, face the 3 Admiral, and retreat completely. This record is really brilliant. And they are still a rookie pirate group, which is very powerful. For hundreds of years, there has never been a pirate group like this. It can be called unprecedented. Celestial dragons, nothing more. I saw you kill once. Having said that, Ye Chen seemed to think of something, raised his head and looked at Doflamingo, and said meaningfully, but don't worry, we will not attack you now. Single quote. Boom. In a flash, the scene was silent for a while, and the atmosphere suddenly became weird. Gallo and Acid stared at Doflamingo. It put a lot of pressure on Doflamingo. It's just that these are nothing compared to Ye Chen's remarks. Doflamingo looked stiff. For a 4, I don't know what else you said. Don't pretend, Doflamingo. Although few people know the identity of your celestial dragons, there are still people who do. Doflamingo's pupils shrank, his whole body shook, and he groaned for a moment, then said in a deep voice, you tell me this, what do you want to do? He is the identity of celestial dragons, although some people know it. But there are not many people who know, and those people are basically top executives, which can also be said to be a secret. And his identity cannot be said, because the Holy Land does not recognize him as celestial dragons. Simultaneously, Doflamingo didn't quite understand. Ye Chen took this thing out and said, what on earth did he want to do? Warn him. Still is. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. I don't want to do anything, I just talked about the topic of celestial dragons, subconsciously remembering it. Ye Chen smiled slightly, calmly. Hearing this, Doflamingo's face changed slightly, his hands clenched into fists, his eyes flickering under his sunglasses. The next moment, after seeing Acids and Gallo who were staring at him next to him, Doflamingo slowly let go of his hands and smiled. Fufurfur, celestial dragons is nothing, and I was expelled from celestial dragons a long time ago. I am no different from ordinary people now. Single quote. If it were to be an ordinary person, Doflamingo would definitely have to do it. But facing Ye Chen, he didn't dare to do anything. Because he knew that if he did, he would die on the spot. Although he is very arrogant, it also depends on who he is facing. If facing Ye Chen's level of existence, he knows how to let go of his posture. If facing ordinary people, or the pirates who are not too strong, he is still that unscrupulous Tianyasha. Can bend and stretch. This is the nature of Doflamingo. Well, don't talk about this. Ye Chen smiled slightly and said softly, tell me something about Kaido. I heard that these guys are going to do something to us. Single quote. As the king of the dark world, you should know these news. Regardless of the topic of celestial dragons, Doflamingo returned to normal and laughed and said, Fur, of course I know that, in New World you and Kaido have been told for a long time. It is rumored that Kaido is very interested in Gallo and wants him to join them. Speaking of which, Doflamingo looked at Gallo. Upon seeing this, Gallo smiled honestly. Let me join them. This will never be possible, I will only follow the captain's footsteps. Single quote. As the character summoned by Ye Chen, Gallo is 100% loyal to Ye Chen, unwavering no matter what happens. It can be counted as the benefits given by the system. A seed sneered and said, they want Gallo to join them too, don't look at their own weight. Heard this sentence. Doflamingo broke out in a cold sweat, but he was a pirate group who dared to deal with celestial dragons. His tone was so big that he didn't even pay attention to Kaido of the four emperors. If this spreads out, I don't know how many people are scared to death. To know the four emperors' pirate group, Kaido's deterrence can be regarded as the strongest. But then he thought that these three people were worthy of facing three admiral, and it was normal not to put Kaido pirates in his eyes. For a four, I'm not good at this. Doflamingo smiled and said, but according to what I know about Kaido, once he values things, it is imperative. They are likely to start with you, and you must be careful. As one of the four emperors, Kaido is not to be underestimated. It is not an ordinary pirate group. It doesn't matter, Ye Chen said lightly. Since they want to do it, then we will give him a chance. I really want to see how strong the four emperors are. Single quote. Doflamingo was shocked, silent. This pirate group is really arrogant one by one. It's just that I just entered the new world and wanted to do something against the Kaido pirates. But they do have arrogant capital. Then, about 3 or 4 hours later, the people from Doflamingo came over with pointers and maps. This is the pointer and map of the Moon Kingdom, you can take a look. Doflamingo handed the things to Ye Chen. After receiving it, Ye Chen put it away directly. Then they greeted the two to leave. But when he was leaving, Ye Chen's voice came. I know you have a good relationship with Kaido. Tell Kaido that you really want to do something with us. Then come to Moon Country, where are we waiting for him? Hear this. Doflamingo was shocked. Chapter 43. The Black Crow Pirates have declared war on Kaido. Doflamingo's pupils shrank and his whole body was shaken. This is a big deal. One is the emerging pirate group that defeated the three admiral, and the other is the Kaido pirate group, one of the four emperors that have long informed New World. If the two sides run into each other, Mars will undoubtedly hit the Earth and shake the whole world. Moreover, the strength of both sides is very strong. Once a war starts, it will inevitably sweep the world, and no matter which side wins or loses, it will affect the world's structure. That will affect the decision-making of many forces. Such as Doflamingo. If Ye Chen wins and Kaido is ruled out, everything he did before will be wasted. The relationship between him and Kaido is not shallow. Once Kaido hangs up, the entire Kaido pirate group collapses, and everything he did before will be gone. Doflamingo took a deep breath, frowned, and said in a deep voice, Kaido may not lose, and even if it loses, it won't die. It's just that this battle really fought, and the outcome is unpredictable. Even if it was him, he couldn't see through this battle. After all, the combat power of the two sides is hard to say. The pirate group with only 3 people can defeat the 3 admirals in the Chambord Islands after killing celestial dragons. This shows that the strength of the 3 is extremely extraordinary, and it is definitely a well-known strong in New World. Kaido is not simple. Kaido himself is known as the strongest creature by sea, land and air, and his physique is terrifying. Although he has lost many people, no one can kill him. Marine has tried many methods, but still can't achieve the effect of killing Kaido. This shows that Kaido's physical horror is enough. At the same time the two sides fought, and he was not easy to decide which one would win. Because the combat power of the two sides seems to be the same. As soon as I entered New World, I challenged Kaido directly. No wonder these guys are called the strongest rookie pirate group. Both strength and self-confidence can be regarded as the strongest among the rookie pirates in the past. Doflamingo's eyes flickered, and a smile rose from the corner of his mouth. This is a good show. I don't know if Kaido will take over this battle. Kaido can't answer. This is really hard to say. If the Chambord incident hasn't broken out yet, Kaido will definitely take it down. After all, the combat power of the two sides is not at the same level no matter how you look at it. At that time, the Black Crow pirate group's reputation was only that they offered a high bounty, but their strength should not be very strong. So if this happened at that time, Kaido estimated that he didn't need to go there, and he would directly send a pirate group under his command, and he would have the confidence to eradicate the Black Crow pirate group. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. But after things broke out in the Chambord Islands. All this is hard to say. The 3-person pirate group can repel 3 admiral, which shows that they have a strength comparable to or even surpassing the 3 admiral. Although Kaido's strength is strong, facing the 3rd admiral still needs careful consideration. For a 4, let Kaido think about this. Doflamingo let out a weird smile, but with that guy's character, he might not refuse. Single quote. You may want to consider changing to other 4 emperors. However, what Doflamingo knows about Kaido, this guy is always willing to fight against those who come to the battle, and now there are people who send him to fight, and it is estimated that he will not refuse. New World is going to turn the sky. Leaving this sentence, Doflamingo walked out slowly. As long as the news from him spreads out. Basically, it will shake the entire New World, even the whole world. It is estimated that many people will pay attention to this matter. Because of this matter, it may be the most intense and the biggest battle in recent years. The other side. Ye Chen walked out. Gallo became bigger in an instant, and Acedes and Ye Chen jumped directly on their backs. Then, Gallo rose into the sky and turned into a rainbow light across the sky, then disappeared in front of everyone. Up in the air, Acedes sat next to Ye Chen and asked, Captain, that guy Kaido will take our challenge book. Single quote. I'm not sure about this. Ye Chen pondered for a moment, and said, but normally, the guy Kaido should come over. He is about the same as you, and he likes fighting very much. Normally, Kaido will come. But no one can guarantee this kind of thing 100%, after all, anything can happen. It will be known at that time. If he doesn't come then we will find him personally. Ye Chen looked calm. Although he has few people now, facing Kaido, he still has a bit of confidence. The next day, a piece of news spread wildly, sweeping the world. People in New World, Grand Line and many other sea areas were shocked when they heard the news. The Black Crow pirates declare war on Kaido. Really, the Black Crow pirates will directly attack Kaido. It should be true. This news seems to come from Doflamingo, and there is news that Doflamingo and the Black Crow have met. It turned out to be true, but Ye Chen and the others are too crazy, right? They just got to the New World and started fighting 4 emperors. This is really crazy. They can repel even 3 admiral, they have a strength, and madness is normal. I thought I would have to wait a while for the 4 emperors. I didn't expect Ye Chen to wait. It looks good now. I don't know what Kaido's reaction is. And I heard that Kaido was originally one of Ye Chen's pirates people are interested. Kaido should go. If you really do it, this will be an exciting battle in recent years, and I don't know who will win. I'll know it then. Everyone has their own opinions. However, most of them still remain extremely concerned about this matter, because there has been no combat power of this level for a long time. Although there are people who challenge the 4 Emperors pirate group every year, there are really not many pirate groups like Ye Chen and the others. Chapter 44. Marine Headquarters. Many marine high levels gathered together. Sengoku sat on the top, folded his hands, looked gloomy, and said, you probably have heard the news about New World recently, haven't you? The voice fell off. Sitting on the sofa looking sleepy, Aokiji said lightly, Mr. Sengoku, what happened to New World? Could it be that the 4 emperors are fighting again? These guys are really restless, they just played against each other not long ago. New World. That was a place where monsters pushed, and the strong from various sea areas gathered to form one after another force, among which was the 4 emperors as the head. Kaido, Whitebeard, Red Hair, Ant. The 4 great pirates group has many forces and is powerful, and is known as the title of the Sea Emperor. That is, 4 emperors. The leaders of these 4 forces have different personalities and often conflicts, but they are generally minor conflicts, and they rarely go to war directly between the 2 sides. Although such things are rare, they are not uncommon. And almost every year, but after most of the fights, it will return to normal, and then the same situation. To this, Aokiji thought that there was a conflict on the 4 emperors' side again, and the war was about to start again. Generally, Marine is very nervous at this time. Although they wish that all these guys died, for various reasons, they didn't really want all of these guys to die, or lose both. Aokiji, you don't pay much attention to the news this time. Kizaru had a weird tone, holding his mouth and said, recently, news of the Black Crow pirates came from the New World. I heard that they have declared war with the Kaido pirates. Because of this incident, it caused a lot of turmoil, and many people all over the world have been talking about it. Ye Chen is going to war with Kaido. Aokiji's face changed slightly, and he was a little surprised. He did not watch the news recently. Ye Chen, why did they engage with Kaido? Is it possible to step on Kaido? It's just stepping on Kaido, isn't this choice a good choice? Newcomers find the trouble of the veteran pirate group, which has always been the tradition of New World. There are many every year. Because the pirates who can get inside are not weak in strength and have some ability, which leads to a little overconfidence in their hearts, and feels that no matter who they face, they have the power to fight. But often this kind of pirates are basically submerged in history, and no waves are splashed out. With the strength of Ye Chen and others, it is understandable to challenge the 4 emperors. After all, Aokiji is not surprised by the strength. Because they have personally experienced the strength of these guys. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It is very clear about the strength of Ye Chen and others. It's just that Aokiji couldn't figure out why Ye Chen chose Kaido. Kaido is notoriously strong in physique, and his subordinates are not weak. Ye Chen and others may not have a chance to win against Kaido. I heard that a long time ago, Kaido let go of the conversation and wanted Gallo to join them, and also wanted to kill Ye Chen and the others. Maybe Ye Chen and the others knew the news and declared war on Kaido. Ye Chen's declaration of war is also reasonable. Kizaru said lightly, this matter is not too complicated, he has known a bit. A group of pirates are fighting within, let them destroy themselves. Humph. Akainu said with a sullen face and expressionless face. The internal fight between the pirates and the pirates did not interest him. He even wished that these guys would both lose and they would even die, so that he could save time to deal with these guys later. Ha 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 ha. Ye Chen is really brazen, he just entered New World and went to war with Kaido, he really has the courage. Garp laughed and ate the senbei in his hand. The crane next to him glanced at Garp and said faintly, "It is indeed troublesome for the two sides to fight, and now Kaido has responded. It is inevitable that most of the two sides are going to fight. Moreover, the impact of this war is great, no matter which side wins, it is enough to change the entire new world pattern. Whether you win or lose, Ye Chen and Kaido have a strong enough influence in the war. If Kaido wins, his reputation will be even better and his dominance over New World will increase. If Ye Chen wins, it will be terrible. It is very possible to step on Kaido's body to the position of the four emperors. Become the youngest four emperors. Since history. By that time, Ye Chen can use the reputation of four emperors to recruit talents and replenish his power. In a short period of time, the power can be increased to the level of four emperors. Mr. Sengoku, since they are at war, what is our attitude here? Are we going to fight too? Aokiji looked lazy, looked at Sengoku and asked. He wants to know the attitude of Marine, or the attitude of the world government. Simultaneously, everyone looked at Sengoku. Although the fight of the pirates has nothing to do with us, the world government's meaning is that we have someone to go there. If you find that there is a chance to kill Ye Chen, then do it. Having said that, Sengoku paused for a moment, and said in a deep voice, of course, without 100% certainty, the identity cannot be revealed. Mr. Sengoku, I am not suitable for this task, and my abilities are easily exposed. Aokiji decisively refused. To sneak attack, his ability is simply inappropriate. I know this. Sengoku nodded, then looked at Kizaru. Almost at the same time, the eyes of the others also looked at Kizaru. Kizaru, who was yawning, suddenly froze there. His face changed slightly. Kizaru looked dark and said, Mr. Sengoku, I think this task is best for CP0. They are proficient in assassination, and each of them is a king of assassinations. No one is more suitable than them. Sneak attack, assassination, this kind of action is really not suitable for him. And this task is too dangerous, so he can't paddle at all. Chapter 45. Run to assassinate. Kizaru is absolutely impossible to agree. Not to mention the damage to his identity, the main reason is that it is too dangerous. Once the two sides go to war and the battlefield is opened, it is difficult for him to get close to those monsters. Not to mention anything else, as long as his abilities are exposed, others will know that he has come. The Logia ability is too conspicuous. Kizaru, this can't be helped. Sengoku pondered for a moment, and explained, the high-end combat power in front of you, only your abilities are appropriate. Both Aokiji and Akainu's abilities are too conspicuous, and they are slow. Once the mission fails, it's difficult to escape. Single quote. But your abilities are different, even if you are discovered, no one can catch up with you. Sparkling fruit, speed dominates the world. Except for some special demon fruit power, such as thunder fruit, or the ability to be suspected of rules, it is basically impossible to catch up with Kizaru. Kaido and Ye Chen are not famous for speed. Really found out, Kizaru can indeed leave the battlefield quickly. And this is the order of 5 elders. Kizaru, I can't help it, they ordered us to have an Admiral combat power shot here, and CP0 also has high-end combat power shots, you can rest assured. Sengoku shook his head. This was an order from 5 elders, and he couldn't refute it. After all, Marine is just a dog of the world government. Any order must be obeyed, especially Admiral. Mr. Sengoku, I have a physical injury. I played against Kaido before. Kizaru said helplessly. Some struggle. He really didn't want to perform such a task. Heard this sentence. Sengoku said decisively. The autonomy of this task lies with you. If you can start, you can start. If there is no chance to start, you can choose not to expose. Quote. They are asking for a one-shot kill. If you are sure that you can't kill Ye Chen and the others, then don't make a move. The choice is yours. Heard this sentence. Kizaru was helpless, he couldn't refuse. I took this task. Although very reluctant, there is no alternative. Who makes Admiral obey the world government and celestial dragons? It's just that the position of Marine Admiral plays the role of CP0, which is rare in history. Some can't be seen. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The other side. New World. Red Hair Pirates. On the deck. The red hair took the latest information, read it carefully, smiled at the corner of his mouth, and said, what an incredible newcomer, they are already amazing enough to repel the third admiral. They didn't expect to fight Kaido as soon as they entered. The Beckman next to him said faintly, they dare to kill even celestial dragons. There is nothing they dare not do. Declaring war on Kaido is also expected. Few people have the courage to kill celestial dragons in the Chambord Islands. Even they dare not, not afraid. Instead, they killed celestial dragons, which caused too much trouble, and they a little disliked trouble. After all, if you kill celestial dragons, you will be targeted. The behemoth world government, even if they are 4 emperors, dare not act rashly. This is also true, I suddenly want to see this young man. Shanks laughed, his eyes gleaming, meaning, the courageous young man like this has not appeared for a long time. Single quote. Beckman took a breath and said lightly, they are going to war in the Moon Kingdom. If you want to meet, we can go and join in the fun. Anyway, the land of the moon is not far from us. The sea area where the Moon Kingdom is located is indeed not far from them now. If you want to rush over, it is estimated that a few days will be enough. Shanks thought for a while, shook his head and said, forget it, this is a war between their two sides, it's not easy for us to join. Single quote. Let them solve this kind of thing by themselves. I believe that one day, I can meet those guys. Kaido can't stop their way forward. Heard this sentence. Beckman showed a slight smile on his indifferent face and said, after all, they killed celestial dragons in the Chambord Islands, and they were able to repel the three Admiral. With this strength, Kaido may not win. Single quote. What Ye Chen and others did, they may not be able to do it. This is enough to show Ye Chen's strength. The Whitebeard pirates. Got news. Whitebeard held Kong Yunchi, the corners of his mouth curled up, and he said with a wild smile. Ghoul la la la, young ones set sail in the Moon Country, I want to see this man with my own eyes. Marco next to him smiled and said, Father, do you want to accept them as sons? I do have this idea. Whitebeard grinned and admitted decisively. No one was unmoved by what Ye Chen and others did. Kill celestial dragons. Forced back 3 Admiral. Declare war on the 4 emperors. No matter what happened, it was a big event that shocked the world and shocked the whole world. Putting this kind of thing on any one person is enough to make him famous in the world, and all things are gathered together. That's even more amazing. It will make countless people wonder what kind of person it is to have such arrogance and make such a decision. The other side. The country of peace. Kaido sat in the first seat with a newspaper in his hand and looked at it carefully. After a while, Kaido crushed the information and stood up suddenly, with a gloomy look, facing the generals below. He said in a cold voice, you know the news of the Black Crow pirates, they have openly declared war on us. Since they dare to declare war, then we will accompany them to the end, gather troops to the Moon Kingdom, and crush them to pieces. The declaration of war. It has caused a worldwide sensation, and countless people have been moved by it. Chapter 46. Land of the Moon. Located in the center of New World. Due to its special location, the Land of the Moon is extremely prosperous, and at the same time it is protected by Kaido. Basically no one dares to make trouble in the Land of the Moon. Only after the declaration of war appeared. The prosperity of the Moon Kingdom is absent, countless people have left from the Moon Kingdom, and even the royal family in the Moon Kingdom dare not stay here. Because this has become a battlefield. It may be the biggest battlefield in recent years, or even in the next 10 years. News of the declaration of war came out. A week later. The entire Moon Kingdom went to the empty building, leaving only a special group of people, who were to witness this battle. It's just that the number of people is not very large. At this time, a huge figure appeared abruptly, hovering in the air, and the huge figure almost enveloped the entire Moon Kingdom. Ye Chen is here, this is Gallo. Is it finally here? I heard that Kaido is also on the way. I guess it won't take long to arrive. The curtain is finally about to begin. I don't know who will win this battle. I heard that Jack the Drow, the cadre of Kaido, has arrived in the Land of the Moon, and now Ye Chen and the others have arrived. I wonder if there will be a fight between the two sides. It's hard to say, neither are good talkers, maybe the battle between the two sides will begin. Jack the Drow. He was ordered to capture Gallo at the beginning, but Gallo's whereabouts were mysterious and could not be found. Ye Chen declared war later. Jack the Drow came directly to the Moon Country. Some time earlier than most of Kaido. At this time. In a magnificent palace, the burly Jack the Drow sits on it. A pirate came hurriedly below. Anxiously reported. Master Jack, Gallo of the Black Raven Pirates has arrived, and maybe the entire Black Raven Pirates have also arrived. Call out. Jack the Drow stood up suddenly, his expression gloomy, and said coldly, these guys have finally arrived. Boss Kaido, when are they going to arrive? It may take another day or two. Hearing that it would take a day or two, Jack thought for a moment and said, let everyone gather and meet this arrogant rookie pirate group. Single quote. Heard this sentence. The pirate below was taken aback, and said quickly, Master Jack, Master Kaido has not arrived yet, we are going to meet them now, something is wrong. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. After all the opponent's combat power is there. The opponent can repel 3 Admiral. This is enough to illustrate the problem. The high-end combat power is very powerful. On their side, there is only Jack the Drow enough to see, and the others are nothing. If the present passes, they may be annihilated. It can even be said that 100% will be destroyed. Because strength is not at the same level. I know this, I just want to meet these guys. Jack the Drow glared at the pirate, and then said coldly, what are you standing there doing? Yes. Single quote. Hearing this, the pirate retreated very helplessly. The other side. Gallo fell in a square in the Moon Country. Almost at the same time. Ye Chen and Asides jumped off. Footsteps landed. In a flash. The system prompt sounded. Ding, congratulations to the host for signing in successfully and getting rewards. Almost instantly, a huge amount of knowledge poured into Ye Chen's mind. These are all basic abilities of Shinigami. It's just an ability derived from all the basic abilities in the Shinigami world. For example, all the moves of Ghost Blade and White Hits and other moves are in it. For example, Yoruichi's special White Hits. This reward is pretty good. Ye Chen smiled slightly. This reward may not be as good as before, but it is not bad. At least let him have some more means. For example, Shunpo gave him an advantage in battle, and the many moves in Kido also made him stronger. Hado and Bakudo are both good abilities. Captain, why are there so few people here? Didn't you say that Moon Country is quite prosperous? Gallo looked at the surroundings in silence, without anyone, making him feel a little confused. According to the news they got before, the Moon Country is quite prosperous, and it is considered a middle upward country in New World. And the population is quite large. There are millions of people. And now, as the central square of the island, there is not even one person. This is very strange. Everyone is probably gone. Acedes glanced around and explained, this is about to become a battlefield between us and Kaido. After hearing the news, I guess they are all scared. I should have left during this time. Single quote. But it was really fast enough to leave. It has been less than a week since we declared war, and there is no one here. 1 week's time. Almost 1 million people leave the island, which is astonishingly fast. And this is still an island, not on land. The only way to leave is by boat. If you want to leave millions of people in a week, you don't know how many ships it will take. But even so, all the people in Moon Kingdom also left. This execution power is a bit powerful. Gallo, go catch someone and see what's going on here. Ye Chen said to Gallo. Hearing this, Gallo nodded, and then left the place. Chapter 47. Gallo was about to get up. Boom. There was a roar in the distance, as if a group of legions were coming towards this side, the army was crushing, and the whole ground was trembling. Kaido people. Ye Chen observation Haki spread out, and immediately felt that a group of people were coming in the distance, and the direction of coming was exactly on their side. It didn't take long. After a while, Jack the Drow walked with a group of pirates from a distance. There were a large number of pirates. There were dozens of pirates, and the breath of each pirate was not simple. It was far from the ordinary pirates in the first half of the Grand Line. Jack the Drow. A gleam of light flashed in Ye Chen's eyes. As one of Kaido's 3 cadres, Jack the Drow Ye Chen was extremely familiar. However, although this guy is one of the 3 plagues, his strength is far inferior to the former Flame Ember and Plague Quinn. But even so, it is an extremely powerful combat power in New World. Otherwise, it won't become one of Kaido's 3 cadres, anyway Kaido is also one of the 4 emperors. Being able to become his cadre is definitely not simple. It's just that for ordinary people, for people of Ye Chen's level, Jack the Drow is nothing. You are the members of the Black Crow Pirates. Jack the Drow walked ahead, strong, like a little giant, looking at Ye Chen and others condescendingly, and said coldly, except for that Gallo, you guys don't look good. Gallo's physique is unquestionable, even if Jack the Drow himself is small in front of Gallo. But Ye Chen and Acedes look too petite, although their height and body shape are pretty good among ordinary people. But in front of Jack the Drow, he still looks a little petite. After all, this guy has a height of 3 or 4 meters, and he has a strong physique, which is not comparable to ordinary people. Plus, the aura on Ye Chen and Acedes is very flat, without the oppressive aura of the strong. Although he heard that Ye Chen and others are very strong, Jack the Drow disapproved of the breath of the 2 at the first meeting. It's just that it's blowing hard outside, and it's far from being as strong as the rumors. Hearing Jack the Drow's words, neither Gallo nor Acedes' faces were right. In particular, Ace Desi's face was cold, and a biting cold air burst out all over his body, and the temperature around him suddenly dropped to freezing point. Frost began to condense on the ground under his feet, freezing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Jack the Drow angered them. Ye Chen was a little speechless. Although I knew that Jack the Drow had some problems in his mind, I didn't expect to be so stupid that Kaido hadn't even come yet, and even came to mock him. Is this guy deliberate, or is he dying? Ye Chen didn't figure it out a bit. But he doesn't need to figure it out. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The host. Gallo and Acedes both looked at Ye Chen, they were waiting for Ye Chen's order. Jack the Drow's remarks undoubtedly angered them. Kill him. Ye Chen looked indifferent and said, just give Kaido a gift, and this guy is dead on his own, no wonder we are. The words came out. Gallo and Acedes couldn't help smiling. Let me do it. Gallo slowly walked out, his simple smile faded, and he gradually became cold, and said murderously, I'm going to crush this guy with my hands. Heard this. Acedes hesitated and nodded slowly. Ha 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 ha, crush me. Hearing that Gallo was about to squeeze him to death, Jack the Drow laughed wildly and said, who gave you the confidence? It's enough to kill you. Gallo stepped on the ground and rushed out suddenly. Under the pressure of huge force, the ground cracked directly. Numerous cracks went in all directions, forming a huge spider web. The wind blew up. Gallo was fast, like a bolt of lightning piercing through. Fast speed. Jack the Drow's pupils shrank, and Gallo's speed was far beyond his expectation, which was somewhat inconsistent with his size. Bang! The gigantic Gallo appeared in front of Jack the Drow and slammed a punch. Under the cover of armament Haki, a terrifying aura erupted, engulfing a stream of air, sweeping in all directions like a hurricane. Gallo's figure was too big, as if covering the sky, shrouding everyone in the shadows. See this scene. Kaido's pirates are all a little frightened. What speed is this? Come to them in the blink of an eye. This is unscientific. After all, the body is so huge. It's not that there are people as big as Gallo. There are many giants. But people who are as fast as Gallo do not have giants. Gallo's speed is too fast, so fast that they can't react. But fortunately, Gallo's goal is not them. It's Jack the Drow. The speed is very good, but if you want to kill me, the strength is a little bit worse. Jack the Drow licked his mouth and laughed wildly. Seeing Gallo's speed so fast, I felt even more excited. Jack the Drow's reaction speed was very fast. The moment Gallo was approaching, he almost instinctively reacted, armament Haki covered, and punched out. Bang! The fists collided, and there was an astonishing roar. A terrifying force burst out, and the ground beneath their feet exploded, exploding a big hole. The violent storm rushed out, blowing the surrounding crowd directly away, and no one could stand it. The strength of the two is too terrifying, and the aftermath of the battle is not something ordinary pirates can contend with. Even though the pirates of Jack the Drow are good, they are not much worse than Gallo and Jack the Drow. What kind of power is this, even stronger than me? At the moment the fists collided, Jack the Drow's face suddenly changed. He felt a terrifying power from Gallo's fist. In front of this power, the power he was confident of was not worth mentioning. At the same time, Gallo burst out, and the terrifying force burst out, the huge force crushed Jack the Drow, and his fist burst out like a cannonball. Click. Gallo took Jack the Drow's arm with a punch, and the sound of a fracture sounded. After breaking the arm, the big casserole fist fell on Jack the Drow's face. There was a bang. Jack the Drow's face was distorted and deformed, and several teeth with blood spattered out, and then the whole person was beaten out. It flew upside down for several tens of meters and directly hit the building next to it. Chapter 48. Master Jack. Master Jack. Seeing Jack the Drow being shot out instantly, everyone's pirate's complexion changed drastically, and they shouted in the opposite direction of Jack the Drow flying out worriedly. At the same time, many people were heading over there. When the two played against each other, Jack the Drow was instantly defeated, which no one had expected. Although they knew that Gallo was extremely powerful. But Jack the Drow is not weak. They thought that the strength of both of them would contend with it. Who knows? The power gap between the two sides was so big that in a moment, Jack the Drow was knocked into the air, apparently crushed by Gallo's power. Now that Kaido hasn't come, the strongest on their side is Jack the Drow, if Jack the Drow is not Gallo's opponent. Their situation would be extremely dangerous. This is why these pirates were so worried after Jack the Drow was shot into the air. It's about your own life. They have to worry. I'm fine. Jack the Drow crawled out, his face was not very good. The metal object on his mouth was also crushed by Gallo. Now that Jack the Drow lost the metal, his sharp teeth looked a little weird. Gallo, right, the power is really strong. No wonder Kaido boss wants you to join. Jack the Drow wiped his mouth and said frantically, I admit your strength. You can join us beasts pirates. The words came out. Gallo was a little speechless, what's the matter with this guy? I was defeated. There is so much arrogance. Does my strength need to be recognized by him? Is it possible that this guy still thinks he is better than me? The other side. Ace Day pointed to Jack the Drow and said weirdly, Captain, is there a problem with this guy's brain? She couldn't understand that Jack the Drow was defeated by Gallo. Ordinary people should feel very angry about this kind of thing, or even feel embarrassed. Basically say something cruel. And Jack the Drow's mind seemed a little different, he felt very happy instead, and at the same time said that he recognized Gallo's strength and could allow Gallo to join them. This is weird. It seemed as if it was Gallo that was knocked into the air, not Jack the Drow himself. This guy really has a problem with his brain. Hearing what Acid said, Ye Chen didn't know how to answer. Jack the Drow's brain circuit is really different from ordinary people. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Kind of stupid. My strength does not need your approval. Gallo said, and I won't join beasts pirates. You are not worthy yet. Between words, Gallo rushed out, covering armament Haki's fist, looking extraordinary and terrifying. Arrogant. Hearing Gallo said that their pirate group was not worthy of letting him join, Jack the Drow was furious. A ray of light burst into his body, and his body shape began to skyrocket. Almost instantly, a huge mammoth appeared in front of everyone. Zone, elephant fruit, ancient mammoth. After transforming into a mammoth, Jack the Drow not only swelled several times in size, but also his breath. Mammoth shock. Jack the Drow ran, his huge body resembling a cannonball, rushing away with a terrifying impact. After being transformed into a mammoth, Jack the Drow's power was extremely terrifying. When he ran, the ground shook. The ground shook and the mountains shook, as if there was a major earthquake. Justice punch. Facing the impact of Jack the Drow, Gallo was not afraid, his hands gathered armament Haki, and his fists rushed towards Jack the Drow. His power is extremely terrifying, and there are not many people who can compare with it. It is true that Jack the Drow uses the Devil Fruit ability. But Gallo still felt that this guy was not as powerful as him. Bang. Gallo hammered both fists towards Jack the Drow's head, like a sledgehammer, hitting Jack the Drow's head. Gallo's power was beyond doubt, his fists hit his head, and Jack the Drow's expression appeared painful, screaming again and again. There was a bang. Jack the Drow fell on the ground, and the huge impact exploded the ground. The stones splashed and smoke billowed. Ended. Gallo looked cold, looking at Jack the Drow lying on the ground, his fists gathered armament Haki, and he punched Jack the Drow on the head. Looking at the huge fist in front of him, Jack the Drow had a look of surprise in his eyes. He is about to say something. However, Gallo didn't give him a chance at all. A punch on his head. Boom. There was a deafening sound, and the ground under the two people's feet exploded with a bang, and a pit that was hundreds of meters long suddenly appeared. Under the pothole, Jack the Drow has disarmed Devil Fruit and returned to its normal form, lying on the ground, his head covered with blood. He lay there feebly. Gallo suffered 2 heavy losses, making him a little weak. Gario catch him. This is Ye Chen's voice. Good captain. Hearing this, Gallo grabbed Jack the Drow on the ground like a dead body, and flew upwards. The punch Gallo just now was extremely terrifying. The entire ground was destroyed, and it fell directly tens of meters. As if a meteorite fell, it exploded the entire ground. Fly to the top. Bang. Gallo threw Jack the Drow to the ground in front of Ye Chen, and then he landed next to Ye Chen and said, Captain, this guy is average, and a little vulnerable. Not as good as those Akainu guys. At first I saw Jack the Drow so arrogant. How strong does he think this guy is? Who knew it was so weak? Far from being comparable to those of Admiral. This guy is just average. Hearing Gallo comparing Akainu with Jack the Drow, Ye Chen smiled, and you compare Akainu with him, which insults Akainu. Akainu is Marine Admiral, and it is also extremely scary among Marine Admiral. Although Jack the Drow is Kaido's cadre. But the strength is definitely not at the Admiral level, and it is estimated that there is not a small distance from the Admiral level. Compare him to Akainu. It really insulted Akainu. Akainu is not that weak. Chapter 49. Master Jack was arrested. What shall we do now? What else can I see? Seeing Jack the Drow got caught, the rest of the beast's pirates were anxious, but these people didn't dare to say anything. I can only watch. Now Jack the Drow is not an opponent. If they do, they will only die. Rather than what to do, it's better to pray for Kaido to come quickly. And Kaido is on the way. It should be soon. At the same time. On a towering building, 3 masked figures stood there. One of them was wearing a birdman mask, holding a telescope and looking towards Ye Chen and the others. Jack the Drow really lost. He shouldn't die now, maybe he's in a coma. Ye Chen and the others didn't do anything. With their character, it is very likely that they will wait for Kaido to come over and do it in front of Kaido. The person wearing the birdman mask turned to the telescope and said, These guys are not afraid, and they might think so. A lazy voice rang out and said, with their character, Kaido might have to give Kaido a little bit of power. But Jack the Drow is also looking for death. Without Kaido, he dared to do something with Ye Chen and the others. Jack the Drow is notoriously mindless, and it's normal to do this. Said another person with a civet mask next to him. All 3 are members of the world government. The 2 are CP0 people, and they are also CP0 cadres, and they are not weaker than Admiral. As for the lazy voice, Kizaru. The 3 of them actually came to Moonland a long time ago and have been waiting for Ye Chen and Kaido to go to war. Waiting for the 2 sides to go to war and have a chance to intervene. The best result is someone who can solve Ye Chen, or someone from Kaido. They saw Jack the Drow come first, and they also saw Ye Chen and others coming. It's just that they are quite speechless. Although knowing that Jack the Drow is a bit stupid. But I didn't expect to be so stupid. A person ran over to provoke the Black Crow pirates. If Kaido is there, it doesn't say anything. After all, Kaido's strength is there. But now only Jack the Drow is alone. This guy is very strong in New World. But if you compare it to the members of the Black Crow pirates, it's far inferior. Because the Black Crow pirate group has the lowest strength of Admiral. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Jack the Drow provoked in the past. Isn't that looking for death? As predicted, you don't need Ye Chen to shoot. Gallo hammered Jack the Drow all by himself. Regarding Jack the Drow's way of giving heads, Kizaru and others can only say that the rumors are true, very mad and stupid. They can now imagine how furious after Kaido came and saw Jack the Drow got caught. Kaido is almost here. It won't be long before the 2 sides should go to war. CP0, wearing a birdman mask, said in a deep voice. Wait, CP0, wearing a civet cat mask, said, waiting for them to lose and lose, we are taking action. We must not expose our whereabouts at will. Okay. The man nodded. This time they came here for the benefit of the fishermen. Waiting for both sides to lose and lose the net. At the same time, in the sea not far from the Moon Kingdom, a huge pirate ship came towards this side, and on the towering flagpole on the ship, the black pirate flag was engraved with the Beast's Pirates logo. The Pirates of Beast's Pirates. And on the bow, Kaido, a huge figure, stood on top. There were 2 figures sitting beside him. One is wearing black clothes and a black mask, his eyes are calm and his breath is cold. Burning embers. The other is a pirate with a fat body, wearing black sunglasses, and looking a little wretched. Plague Quinn. Kaido's 2 strongest cadres. Although it has the same name as Jack the Drow, it is far more powerful than the Drought. Boss Kaido, intelligence from Moon Country. Quinn's voice was heavy, as if suppressing his anger, and said, "The members of the Black Crow Pirates have arrived. And Jack is also in the Moon Kingdom, but that guy who ran to provoke the Black Crow Pirates has been defeated by the Black Crow Pirates and has been caught." The words came out. Jin's eyes flickered and said, "This guy is still the same as before." Heard the news. They are not too surprised. Because Jack the Drow has always been like this, a little arrogant, plus a little stupid. Things like this giving heads are the style of this guy. It's just a matter of giving away the head before. After all, not many people can help him. But the Black Crow Pirates are different. Although only a rookie pirate group. But the combat power is not bad and can compete with Marine 3 Admiral. And now that the two sides are fighting, Jack the Drow's doing so undoubtedly weakened their combat power. This idiot. Kaido turned dark and snorted. Just treat this guy as dead. Single quote. Jack the Drow's practice also made him extremely unhappy. It was okay before, there were not many people threatening them, and Jack the Drow could do whatever he wanted. But now, facing the Black Crow Pirates, Jack the Drow is so stupid, he doesn't know what to say anymore. Right when Jack the Drow is dead. Chapter 50. I heard Kaido when Jack the Drow was dead. Quinn and Jin's faces were calm, and there was not much change. In this case, Jack the Drow still didn't see the situation clearly, and was still so dying. They didn't have much thoughts. It's just as if it's self-explanatory. At this time, a pirate ran over and said, "Boss Kaido, the land of the moon is here." Single quote. The voice fell off. In front of everyone, a huge island came into view. The land of the moon is here. Kaido has arrived. This war is about to start. At the same time, on a tall building in the Moon Kingdom, a telescope in the direction of CP0 wearing a Birdman mask, said in a deep voice, "Kaido's pirate group is here." The words came out. Whether it was CP0 with a civet mask or Kizaru with a monkey mask, his face suddenly became serious. Kaido arrives. This means that the war between the two sides is about to start. An unavoidable war. It may even be the biggest war in recent decades. One is the Four Emperors pirate group. A pirate group starting with 3 admiral ranks, no matter which one is currently the top power in the world. Although there are not many people in the Black Crow Pirates, the combat power is too terrifying, and it is no longer weaker than the Four Emperors Pirates. In some people's minds, the Black Crow Pirates is the 5th Emperor. The undoubted 5th Emperor. Kaido's pirates are near the pier in Moon Country. The flame embers soared out and turned into a pterodactyl in the air, encircling flames all over, flying towards the Kingdom of the Moon. His speed is very fast. In the blink of an eye, he passed through most of the Moon Kingdom. Quickly, he came to the sky above the square where Ye Chen and others were. Ye Chen, Gallo, Acids, and Jack that guy. Jin is in the air. Soon I saw a group of people below. A group of Black Crow Pirates were still there, and Jack the Drow fell unconscious in front of the 3. As soon as he appeared, Kizaru and others hid immediately, not daring to be discovered by Jin. After all, this time they intend to make a secret move. It is not conducive to revealing one's identity now. At the same time, as soon as Jin appeared, Ye Chen and others immediately spotted him. The people from Kaido are here. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Ye Chen looked at the flames soaring in the sky, a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and slowly got up. The appearance of the flames. This almost means that Kaido should be nearby. Gallo and Acids also noticed the fire embers in the sky for the first time. These guys are finally here. Acids' eyes were full of warfare, and he smiled and said, "I'm getting a little impatient while waiting." Acids is a fighting freak, the one who was most pressing to go to war among them. Especially after being summoned by Ye Chen, she learned that Kaido was the strongest group of people at the time, and her fighting spirit was even more sufficient. "I want to fight almost immediately." Especially after the battle with 3 Admiral, Acids has great expectations for Kaido and others. "I hope these guys are as strong as those of Akainu." Hearing these words, Ye Chen smiled and said, "Then you are a little embarrassed for them. Kaido may be better than the 3 Admiral, but the rest is hard to say, but the bird above should be the same. Yan Calamity Ash, as Kaido's Emperor's deputy. The strength is not weak. It should be an Admiral-level strong person, and Plague Quinn might be a little weaker." Heard this, Ace Desi's eyes lit up and said, "That guy is Yanbanjan, isn't it? Leave this guy to me." She didn't plan to find Kaido to do it. Because she knows. This is Ye Chen's goal. "Leave the rest to me." Gallo smiled honestly, he didn't care about anyone, he wasn't picky about his opponent. Boom. After a long time, there was a roar. Kaido brought a group of people from a distance. The huge figure, like a demon god, carries a huge sense of oppression. When the nearby pirates saw Kaido coming, they became excited and yelled, "Boss Kaido! Boss Kaido is finally here." Because of Jack the Drow's death, they have not dared to speak and are waiting for Kaido to arrive. Because I was afraid that I would speak up, Ye Chen and others were invited to act on them. Fortunately, people like Ye Chen are not interested in them, so they can be safe, but even so, they are extremely suffering. Now Kaido is here. They finally raised their eyebrows and didn't need to suffer as much as before. Kaido didn't look at those people. Instead, his eyes fell on Ye Chen and others. After taking a look at Gallo and Acids, his eyes finally fell on Ye Chen. As for Jack the Drow, he ignored them. I've been waiting for you for a long time, Kaido. Seeing that Kaido had come, Ye Chen slowly got up, smiled and said, I thought you wouldn't come. Single quote. Humph. Kaido snorted coldly. Joke, who do you think Lousy is? Lousy is 4 emperors Kaido, why are you afraid of you? If Lousy is too far away, there is no need for you people to wait. Heard this, Ye Chen didn't care, and slowly got up, kicked Jack the Drow under his feet, and thrust a sword into Jack the Drow's chest. The sharp blade pierced Jack the Drow's heart instantly. Puff. Jack the Drow was awakened by the violent pain, his mouth squirmed, as if to say something, but finally he fell weakly. Jack the Drow died. At this moment, the surrounding atmosphere was solidified, silent, and the needle fell silently. The people at Beast's Pirates all looked at Ye Chen glaringly. They can't believe it. Ye Chen dared to kill Jack the Drow in front of them. And he waited for them to arrive, killing them. This is simply a great humiliation. Pause time. The faces of everyone at Beast's Pirates were not very good, and their hearts were so angry that sand burst into their eyes. If killing intent can kill people, maybe Ye Chen has already died and I don't know how many times. Court death. Kaido let out a roar, a breath of terror erupted from his body, and an incomparable mental shock wave penetrated. Conqueror's Haki. Hear the words. Ye Chen's expression remained as usual, a burst of Conqueror's Haki, which was not weaker than Kaido, and even stronger than Kaido. Bang. The two collided together, as if Mars hit the earth, producing a terrifying impact. Above the sky, the wind and the clouds are changing, the clouds are rolling, and the lightning is thundering. As if the end is coming.